हेलो एवरीवन, हेलो, वेलकम बैक टू ऑलमाइटी ब्लूज एफसी, अ फैन चैनल फॉर ऑल टू सी। और हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत टोन डाउन है मेरा वॉइस। आई एम डेफिनेटली ट्राइंग टू पुट अप विद थिंग्स बिकॉज आई नो क्रेजी 48 आवर्स, आई नीड टू बी हैप्पी यार। हमने एक बीइंग इंडियन फैन यार, ऑब्वियसली वी हैव वन बैक टू बैक ट्रॉफीज एंड आई हैड एक्सपीरियंस्ड इट विद क्लोज क्वार्टर्स एकदम भाई। आई वाज ऑन सेवेंथ हेवन ऑलमोस्ट, ठीक है। लेकिन जैसे ही स्ट्रीम शुरू हुआ भाई, उससे पहले आधी घंटा पहले भाई एक वीडियो ड्रॉप हुआ है एंड दैट इज फ्रॉम सेजार एस्पिलिक्वेटा। And I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. And if anyone, and it's not just for Chelsea fans, anyone जो भी प्रीमियर लीग को देखा है enough, who has basically understood what defending is all about, who's understood कि यार what being a captain is all about, being a player is all about, आपका loyalty कहाँ आपका होना चाहिए when you are in a sport, you would respect that. और ये भाई, without taking names, it's not certain people who kind of recorded the videos, उनके जैसा नहीं है, as much as they have done lots as well. This is coming straight from the heart and मतलब he is someone, Aspilicueta, for people out there जो उनको नहीं मालूम है भाई, he is someone who always has a smile on his face. Always, I say, and I literally mean always. I don't even like मतलब मैं जोक भी नहीं कर रहा यहाँ पर। मुझे याद है एफए कप हम हारे थे अगेंस्ट लेस्टर सिटी बिफोर द चैंपियंस लीग ऑब्वियसली 2021 में, और उस इंटरव्यू में भाई वो स्माइल मार दिया था क्योंकि ही डिडंट हैव एन आंसर कि यार व्हाई डिड चेल्सी लूज दैट गेम, एफए कप अगेंस्ट लेस्टर, वी वर द फेवरेट्स एंड वी लॉस्ट दैट गेम। बिकॉज ही इज दैट काइंड ऑफ अ गाई, दैट इज एस्पिलिक्वेटा फॉर यू। वो बेसिकली अपना जो इमोशन से दिखाता ही नहीं है बिकॉज ही इज अ थरो प्रोफेशनल। Yes, he is going to Atletico Madrid, wish him all the very best, but his video, his farewell message to the Chelsea fans had me in definitely in tears. I will not lie, absolutely no two ways about it. और कहीं ना कहीं thanks to you guys obviously supporting the channel always, and of course we are there for each other as football fans, not just Chelsea fans. Again, it's a fan channel for all to see. It'll remain that way, and I know बहुत सारे हमने बात करना है about transfers, be it Real Madrid, be it Barcelona, be it Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, भाई काफी सारे teams है, Spurs as well as Newcastle among Chelsea and Milan of course. तो भाई हमने बात करना है and I believe Guruji will be joining us, yes, after a lot of time भाई. Guruji is back on the channel, big up to him, he'll be joining in just a few minutes. लेकिन सबसे पहले भाई big up to you guys of course. साथ साथ में भाई वापस से इसका एक हमने किया ही था रिसेंटली ऑल ब्लू शो में. फॉर पीपल हु मिस्ड आउट, डू चेक इट आउट. And I think this guy deserves a tribute for sure, but not just as a Chelsea fan, even as a professional. यहाँ पर मैं देख रहा हूँ Mantra Bhatt has become a member. Mantra, welcome to the channel. Thanks for supporting the channel. Always means a lot. It's an almighty fam, no matter what. जैसे एसपी ने बोला है भाई, वेदर आप छोड़ रहे हो कि नहीं, ही इज ऑलवेज अ ब्लू. तो होपफुली आप लोग सब लोग जो भी आते हो एज वेल एज आने वाले हो और आए हो, सब लोग will always remain almighty blues even though you're not Chelsea fans, and even if you are, absolutely great, आपको पता ही है. लेकिन हाँ, Assassin Gaming feels the same. Keshav being an Arsenal fan, I respect that totally. I totally respect that. Ganesh Jaka, yes, बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं Ganesh Jaka कहाँ, एसपी कहाँ, हम कंपेयर ही नहीं कर रहे. गणेश जाका आई थिंक if I'm not wrong 6-7 साल तक रहा है. केशव if I'm not wrong, आई थिंक 2000, मुझे याद है कांटे जब साइन किया था चेल्सी ने, तब गणेश जाका लिया था आर्सेनल ने. आई थिंक दैट वाज द डिफरेंस, बट the first two seasons obviously were question marks, but you have to say the last couple of seasons he's done really well. Definitely एक लीडर था कहीं ना कहीं, even without wearing the armband. Though जब armband पहना था, I know that Arsenal fans weren't happy, but I think he has definitely मतलब come back, in terms of Arsenal fans hearts. SP has been here. Joshua भी बोल रहे Messi is good. क्या हाल है भाई? Amazing SAF Champions video भाई. Thanks a lot for जो लोग भी देखे. Of course big up to everyone here. But मैंने I know I could have cut a lot. ये डायरेक्टली बोलता हूँ, for people who have not checked it out, do check it out. हमारा एक व्लॉग था. Obviously the experience that we had in the West Block Blues supporting India for the SAF Championship victory. Of course end to end मैं बहुत काट सकता था. That's my thing that मैंने जानबूझ के काटा नहीं, because I really wanted people who are not there to kind of feel it. I hope you do that. And by the way, उसमें मैंने obviously वंदे मातरम और माँ तुझे सलाम हटाया है. That was absolute goosebumps. क्यों? क्योंकि obviously YouTube copyright दे देती है यार, जो last time हुआ था मेरे साथ in the vlog. But big up to everyone who's watched it. और Omar in the house, Suman, Kobe in the house as well. Absolutely, I agree. I absolutely agree with this. मैंने इसके बारे में ट्वीट भी किया. देखिए, I know he's not a John Terry, but for today's fans who are like teenagers now, who have just become Chelsea fans maybe just a few years ago, उनके लिए Aspilicueta is that leader. Is definitely that leader जो उन्होंने देखा है winning everything literally, and arguably is the best transfer ever in Chelsea for sure. मतलब 7 million में बंदे ने सब चीज जीत लिया यार. मतलब आप देख सकते हो Even people like Messi, etc. have rated him. I know opposition, fans may not be knowing as much because उन्होंने हर एक second ही देखा होगा. But he was always a fighter. He was always a professional. What everyone knows, even Spanish fans would know that and second that 100%. 100%, bro. आप देख सकते हो. Basically, this is something that we shared last time as well. John Terry, Gary Cahill and Aspilicueta, कहीं ना कहीं that transfer market का जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, it doesn't really matter what the fees is. That's what the bottom line is. And yes, again हम लोग जो late join कर रहे हैं, हम लोग इसलिए दिखा रहे हैं क्योंकि he's just released a video which is a farewell message from him to Chelsea fans, and it's emotional even if you're not a Chelsea fan, and I genuinely mean that. क्या बात. अरे अविनाश टेक इन द हाउस ब्रो, बहुत दिन हो गए यार. कहाँ हो आप? Will miss our legend, absolutely. Aspi and RLC never complain. In fact, वही है मैं बोला ना, there are very few foreigners especially who have really understood what Chelsea is in recent times, और he is one of them for sure. एकदम बहुत recent बोलूंगा, after the Drogba era and etc. मैं बोलूंगा, maybe after the Czech era as well. मतलब Eden Hazard and Aspilicueta understood that compared to many others in terms of basically the overseas players है. लेकिन again being a captain, Ajinkya in the house, hello Ghanta gang, absolutely Ghanta gang to bhai definitely. Aspi is yes, absolutely legend of the Premiership and CFC, of course. All the best. Animation in the house as well by again yes, Sunny Suman in the house as well, और CFC Utkarsh, सब लोग आ गए भाई. सुमित, अभिषेक, of course man. संजीव, मैंने आपका देखा था मैसेज यार. संजीव, नेथन एज वेल. भाई देखिए, दैट्स द थिंग, ऑपोजिशन फैंस गिविंग रेस्पेक्ट शोज अ लॉट. मुदित, क्या हाल है भाई? बट या like fine wine bro, hopefully he does well in Atletico Madrid भाई. AC Milan तो मैं ऐसे ही देखता हूँ क्योंकि that's my second club, or I have a soft corner, you guys know that. But I think it's time probably to even follow Atletico Madrid even more closely. Mudit will be happy there. Mudit, would you start him at Atletico Madrid? Just asking. And I know that अभी वो player नहीं है Aspilicueta जो था up until a couple of years ago, but still I think that fighting spirit is always there no matter what. Again, मतलब आप देख सकते हो the passion. This was an iconic photo यार. कहीं ना कहीं one person was recorded a video and released is there as well. लेकिन एक और RLC and Aspi man, next level in my opinion in terms of the love for Chelsea. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ quality के हिसाब से. Love for Chelsea, the loyalty, एकदम मतलब स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, सच्चा प्यार है भाई. सच्चा प्यार ढूंढ ना, ये है, सिंपल एज दैट. आई रियली बिलीव दैट दिस गाय इज 11 साल ऐसे ही भाई नहीं रहता. मतलब लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट, एट वन पॉइंट ही वाज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रीमियरशिप डिफेंडर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ जस्ट डिफेंडिंग. आप बात करें तो प्रिटी श्योर दैट बहुत सारा इंटरेस्ट आ रहा होगा इसके लिए, बट ऑलवेज लाइक बिन देयर डन दैट. ऑफ कोर्स दिस नाइट, एंड ऑफ कोर्स मैं जॉन टेरी से कंपेयर क्यों किया हूँ फॉर टुडेज यंगस्टर्स, बिकॉज 11 साल ब्रो. 11 साल कैप्टन कितने लोग रहते हैं भाई in clubs these days? It's very rare. It's very rare that we see that. But again, these are some special days for Aspi. And again, just quick thing. और by the way, हम transfers पर आ रहे हैं. Just about to भाई, talking about transfers, सब लोग बोल रहे हो, गुरुजी will be joining us in just a couple of minutes. लेकिन सबसे पहले हम कहाँ से शुरू करें भाई? Meanwhile, स्पेन से शुरू करते हैं because Aspi is going to Spain as well. भाई रियल मैड्रिड, मतलब they are really doing much in the transfer market. Yeah, Real Madrid absolutely they're doing lots. In fact, the main thing is I think Mbappe. Will they get Mbappe? That's the biggest question. I think it's time that we realize कि यार Mbappe, और Mbappe realize himself that भाई दाल गलने नहीं वाली PSG में. ठीक है, कुछ होने नहीं वाला. I know he's a Frenchman, or he has to move at some point because he also wants to win the Ballon d'Or. Or let's be honest, on form, मतलब he is potentially one of the top 3 players in the world for sure. लेकिन potentially the best player also आप बोल सकते हो अगर आपके पास हालैंड के पास rest of the city players नहीं होते. तो he needs to realize that he needs to move. लेकिन लुइस एनरिके क्या है? Now what does he do? Meanwhile, obviously, खलीफी और ये तो लड़ लिए भाई. I know डायरेक्टली लड़े, लेकिन मीडिया से लड़ लिए एक दूसरे से मीडिया के सामने. बेसिकली ये बोल रहा है भाई आई रेस्पेक्ट पीएसजी, वो सब हमें पता है, बेस एक और साल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का हम रहेंगे. एम्बापे सिंह, बट दैट मींस दैट इज लिविंग ऑन अ फ्री. एंड खलीफी इज लाइक, मैं बेवकूफ समझाऊं क्या समझो आप लोग भाई? बेस्ट प्लेयर इन द वर्ल्ड, बेस्ट प्लेयर इन योर क्लब डजंट लीव जस्ट ऑन अ फ्री. भाई वी आर एक्चुअली प्रूफ ऑफ दैट भाई. इंगोलो कांटे लेफ्ट ऑन अ फ्री. हाँ, कहीं ना कहीं आप, मैं बोल रहा हूँ इंगोलो कांटे और एम्बापे कहाँ कंपेयर करो? नहीं, these are two Frenchmen, and I think in their respective positions they were among the best when they were the best. And Mbappe तो खैर बहुत young है, अभी भी है. लेकिन I'm just saying that you don't let players on a free at that level, especially जब मेसी चले गए आपके क्लब से. तो I totally get the PSG stance, totally I get it. लेकिन एम्बापे को अगर साइन करना है, दैट मींस दैट इज मार्केट वैल्यू विल इंक्रीज इवन मोर. अभी ऑलरेडी 200 मिलियन का यूरोस का ऑफर का तैयारी करी है रियल मैड्रिड. तो वेयर शुड एम्बापे रियली मतलब पुट हिज स्टांस कि यार नहीं, नो मैटर व्हाट आई एम गोइंग राइट नाउ, चाहे आपको कुछ भी मिले रियल मैड्रिड से. या बेसिकली ऑन द अदर हैंड ही सेज दैट नो मैटर व्हाट आई एम गोइंग ऑन अ फ्री, बिकॉज रियल मैड्रिड इफ दे बाय चांस दे आर हेजिटेंट, देन यहाँ पर मेरा ड्रीम अकम्प्लिश नहीं होगा. आप लोग बोलिए. बट टॉकिंग अबाउट रियल मैड्रिड ब्रो, आर्डा गुलर is definitely going to be playing at the Santiago Bernabeu. Looks like it again. Brahim Diaz बोल रहा होगा भाई मेरा क्या, यहाँ पे मिलान जहां पर I was the main man, I have left and come back to Real Madrid. अभी आर्डा गुलर साइन करो ना, बहुत यंग है and might be goes on loan as well, might be doesn't start every game, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं ब्राहिम डियाज के मिनट्स कम होंगे 100%. बट व्हाट अ ब्रिलियंट साइनिंग दैट इज आर्डा गुलर. आई थिंक हमें पता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ यंगस्टर्स, इन टर्म्स ऑफ बेसिकली लेफ्ट फुटेड यंगस्टर्स इन दैट कैम, राइट, side position, he is one of the most promising. इसलिए Barca and a lot of other clubs, AC Milan में interested थी. But let's see what happens, whether he starts or not. अनुशील तो बोल रहा है he's a perfect Simeone player. अनुशील, nice to know that. And yes, he is definitely a fighter. He has it in. लेकिन does he have that athleticism जो Simeone चाहते हैं? I don't know about that. लेकिन हाँ, 3 the back के लिए he's still suited in my opinion. In no disrespect, लेकिन ला लीगा में I think he'll work well. Definitely Messi is good. I hear you as well. अरे क्या हाल है भाई, nice to see you. Okay, yeah, literally played everywhere, Abhishek, and played multiple roles as well, absolutely, or during tough times as well as during brilliant times. 11 years is a long time, यार आप हर चीज की हो, if you ask me. Yeah, Arda Guler is definitely a Real Madrid player now, looks like it. Yeah, नहीं बना Guler. कहीं ना कहीं I know Barca fans are disappointed, but at the same time, let's be honest, with Pedri, Gavi, etc. being there, I didn't think उसको इतना गेम टाइम मिलता. I'll be honest about that. हाँ, कहीं ना कहीं Pedri लेफ्ट विंग में खेल सकता है, but that's not the ideal position for him. और ऐसा नहीं कि Pedri बहुत ही यंग है, मतलब बहुत ही ओल्ड है, सॉरी. तो that means that कहीं ना कहीं maybe game time plus the fact that Ozil ने जो बात की होगी, that might have changed the stance of Arda Güler. But again, रियल मैड्रिड में क्या मतलब, ब्राहिम डियाज के कंपेयर टू ऑब्वियसली यू वुड से दैट दिस गाय इज मोर प्रॉमिस. लेकिन ब्राहिम डियाज अगर छोड़ कर आए मिलान जहां पर मेन मैन था, कहीं ना कहीं उसके मन में क्वेश्चन मार्क होगा, 100% होगा. मतलब डू यू थिंक ब्राहिम डियाज शुड लीव रियल मैड्रिड नाउ? आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग, इट्स स्टिल पॉसिबल, राइट? क्योंकि मतलब आई डोंट नो मैन, मैक्सिमम शायद 6 महीने रहे. आई थिंक ही नीड सम गेम टाइम, बिकॉज आई रिमेंबर एसी मिलान में खेल कर भी ही डिडंट गेट इनटू द स्पेनिश स्क्वाड. आई डोंट नो हाउ, बट लेट्स सी. Guler transfer deal is a total of 50 million. That includes 15 million commission to his father. The operation will be around 80 to 86 million. If Guler's wages are, oh, baapre. I don't think 50 million hoga. Messi is good. I know that there is some commission, 100%. 20 million euros is the fee, plus there is commission, but I don't think it's 50 million. I would like to definitely check on that and come back, but let's see. Risk, भाई, कोई भी youngster risk तो है ही भाई. लेकिन आप best promising youngsters को लेते हो ना, नहीं क्या? Dybala is a no risk deal for 12 million even if he fails. It's not a big deal. चलो उस पर बात करनी है definitely Chelsea पर. I'm just waiting for Guruji to join so that we can have a conversation around that topic as well as others around Chelsea as well. Dave was a legend. बाकी हमें घंटा कुछ नहीं पता. मंत्रा, thanks to super chat bro. भाई बिल्कुल हमें तो घंटा पता है bro. नहीं तो सब लोग भाई घंटा गैंग, hit that like button सब लोग. भूलना मत, वी आर डिस्कसिंग एंड टू एंड यहाँ पर, नॉट जस्ट चेल्सी रियल मैड्रिड जिससे हमने शुरू किया है, बट विल बी डिस्कसिंग एंड टू एंड. थोड़ा बहुत बार्सा, लिवरपूल, मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड, सबको कवर करेंगे जितना टाइम परमिट्स एज वेल. एंड इफ आई अननेम्ड सम क्लब्स, डेफिनेटली वो भी इंक्लूडेड है. 2018 कांटे वाज फॉर यार, कांटे बिटवीन 2016 ब्रो, 2016 से 2021 he was like man, I would say in that position the best in the world bro, no two ways about it. Okay, talk about the best in the world. We have one of my favorite guests in the house, and that is Guruji, bro. Long time, क्या हाल है?
Long time. So sorry I couldn't be here earlier, but
अरे
yes.
कोई नहीं यार, कोई नहीं भाई. गुरुजी ओपी हो जाए इन द चैट सबसे पहले तो, ठीक है? गुरुजी, आई डोंट नो अबाउट यू, मैं तो भाई वो वीडियो देखा एसपी वाला, एंड आई एम लाइक ब्रो, एज इन रियली गॉट मी मैन, इमोशनल मैन. मतलब आई नो विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल द ट्रांसफर्स एंड टू एंड, लेकिन जनरली ना हम एक बार याद है आप ही थे चैनल पे, आई थिंक यू एंड चिराग एंड थिंक बाबा, द 3-4 ऑफ अस वर पुटिंग टुगेदर एन ऑल टाइम Chelsea 11 etc. Now that everything has happened, but do you really think that Aspilicueta is really underrated, has not rated enough by even Chelsea fans, leave apart EPL fans in general? जो रहा है
It's
उसका
not about
करियर.
being underrated. I think he is the comparisons that you make Aspilicueta के साथ, ठीक है, जो comparisons जो होते हैं with the legends that have played in that particular position before, तो वो legends काफी ज्यादा और काफी ज्यादा उनका इम्पैक्ट रहा है. एंड दिस इज इन नो वे स्लाइटिंग एस्प्लिक्वेटा, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. इट
हम्म.
इज इन नो वे स्लाइटिंग एस्प्लिक्वेटा. इट्स जस्ट नॉट हिज, क्या बोलते हैं, इट्स जस्ट not his fault in any manner कि someone else has eclipsed him in that legendary position. He's still in that tier 1 legendary status for Chelsea. He spent around 11 years for us
Yes.
right now. He's still in that tier 1 legendary status for us. But if someone still tells me that भाई तेरे all time 11 में एस्प्लिक्वेटा, all time Chelsea 11 में एस्प्लिक्वेटा रहेगा क्या, मैं बोलूँगा नहीं रहेगा.
हम्म.
क्योंकि ऑल टाइम 11 पे जैसे जोशुआ अभी इधर जैसे बोले इवानोविच रहेगा. आप
Yeah, in his prime he was a beast एकदम.
ही वाज अ बीस्ट. मेरा राइट बैक इवानोविच ही रहेगा व्हेन इट कम्स टू द ऑल टाइम चेल्सी 11. सो आई मीन मैंने भी जब इसका वीडियो देखा, आई आल्सो टेड अप, आई आल्सो ट्वीटेड आउट, आई डोंट थिंक सो वी कैन रिप्लेस दैट लीडरशिप पोजीशन जो एस्प्लिक्वेटा ने होल्ड किया था इन
I
एटलीस्ट.
think tenacity is probably the right word to actually say what Aspilicueta is all about. Tenacity.
Yes,
He was really tenacious.
before Thiago Silva, leading from the front, at least from an attitude perspective on the pitch, वो Aspilicueta था before Thiago Silva. So I think that is what we will not miss, because I think Thiago Silva is there in the dressing room. But definitely, जब आप बोलोगे कि एक certain section of Chelsea fans who have probably started watching Chelsea since the Rafa Benitez wala era, or from that particular, from the Sari era ले लो, कि certain generation जो है Chelsea fans का, I think for us, I think this is also taking your tweet into reference as well. For you, like it was Terry, right? For me, it was Hasselbank, right? So this
नहीं, what I
generation,
meant is in terms of the leader and मतलब
yeah,
loyalty element.
exactly. For this generation of Chelsea
Actually, it was
fans,
Zola. था, मतलब to be honest, for me, always it
हाँ,
was Zola.
yeah,
But you have a point. What you're saying is basically a certain section relates to a certain set of players, right? तो वो एक Aspilicueta, Eden
इस
Hazard of this era.
जनरेशन के लिए, जैसे
Yes,
हम जैसे एक जनरेशन के लिए ईडन हजार्ड था, राइट?
correct.
And now after that, probably after Eden left, right, who's next in line? Next in line, I'm sure, is 100% Cesar Azpilicueta. Is 100% Cesar Azpilicueta in that zone. So I think for getting that recognition and being so loyal to the club, even when things were not going right for him and on the pitch, and we were saying that, yeah, Aspilicueta, it's high time he leaves. uh, he was more than happy to be on the bench, and I don't think so there were any slight comments from him in a majority fashion, कि भाई मुझे खिला नहीं रहे हैं, या जैसे like recently, there's a certain person from Cobham who said he was not in Chelsea's plans. There were no such comments made by this man, and I think that is what describes this person. Because even if you are not from England, he's not from England itself, he's not from London itself, he's been brought to this club. And I'm just comparing him, this particular situation to, लोग बोलेंगे कि नहीं यार ये बहुत बड़ा चीज बोल रहा है, गुरुजी बहुत बड़ी चीज बोल रहे हैं, but I'm just comparing this situation to a certain Argentinian who came into a Spanish club when he was young, and he just made that Spanish club his own, right? Although Cesar Aspilicueta was not as young as that Argentinian was, but
No,
the
he said it.
situation,
It's his home. He feels Chelsea's home, and that's the
but
reason.
the
And just not just for Aspilicueta. I think कोई भी जो अब आप देखो ना प्रीमियर लीग में भी जो बहुत सारे हैं. I know there are a couple of Arsenal fans in the chat. वो लोग बोल रहे ग्रेनिच जाका के लिए. Well, I know that he's also spent 6-7 years, so I see where you're coming from. But आप जो भी देखो ना, डेकेड प्लस फॉरेनर जो भी रहे ना, मतलब दे हैव लिटरली मेड इट देयर होम, एंड दैट्स मतलब जोसे मोरिन्यो ब्रो, ही वाज अ पोर्चुगीज बट ही स्टिल बिलीव्स दैट जिस पर मैनेजिंग देयर, भाई मेरा घर है वहां पर, और दैट्स हाउ ही इज ऑलवेज फेल्ट इट, राइट? So some people have it in them, and I think others maybe you can relate by Shagun. Yes, absolutely. लेकिन गुरुजी, lot to be discussing यार, इतना सारा हो रहा है ट्रांसफर मार्केट में, और आई नो आपने एक छेड़ा है, उस पर भी आएंगे, विल कम बैक टू चेल्सी फॉर श्योर सिंस गुरुजी इज हियर ऑब्वियसली। लेकिन मैं बात ही कर रहा था व्हेन यू केम इन अबाउट रियल मैड्रिड, लाइक आई नो दैट कहीं ना कहीं रियल मैड्रिड, यू नो, लास्ट सीजन वर काइंड ऑफ डिसअपॉइंटिंग, आप बोल सकते हैं, फॉर रियल मैड्रिड स्टैंडर्ड्स, एंड Ancelotti will be leaving after 1 year going to Brazil. तो मतलब मैं सोच रहा था भाई बेंजेमा गोइंग, इट कुड हैव बीन अ ट्रांजिशन ईयर, बट अभी जो हुआ है वापस से वही सास बहू वाला स्टोरी इन द लास्ट 48 आवर्स बिटवीन खलीफी एंड एम्बापे। मतलब देयर इज नो टू वेज दैट PSG are letting him on a free, right? So I think the
Yeah.
sensible decision will be like for the three parties to sit together, भाई अपना जो बार्गेन सिस्टम नहीं होता है, बात करो यार, आप इतना प्राइस बोलो, आप एक्सटेंड कर दो, फिर भी आप प्राइस नहीं बढ़ाओगे, PSG बोलेगी और रियल मैड्रिड चलो ठीक है भाई ले लो तू, मतलब ये दिस लुक्स लाइक मोर पॉसिबल और नॉट, नहीं तो यू थिंक इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन फुटबॉल?
What I'll tell you is this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think Mbappe will play this season, and he's definitely going to leave after Olympics 24. He's going to leave after Olympics 2024. Uh, PSG are going to get looted, and he's going to go on a price. He's not going to go on a free. He's going to go on a price, but he's not going to go on a free. Uh, this I think it's high time we put an end to this saga, because like it's the same points repeating over and over again. But yes, now they do need him to some extent, because Benzema के जाने के बाद I think you would need someone centrally there. Harry Kane to Bayern जाएगा अभी mostly, but I think the next best option for Real Madrid, and obviously with the dedication that they have gone with to Kylian Mbappe, I think this is that time, right? They will push for it. They will push for this season. I'm 100% sure, but I don't know how much will they, but I don't know how much will they get in terms of that. So I think next season Olympics 24 is what I'm looking at.
तो मतलब अच्छा, मेरे घर में बत्ती गई है, लेकिन आई होप यू गाइस आर एबल टू हियर मी फाइन, इट विल बी कमिंग इन अ सेकंड ना, तो कोई नहीं। तो भाई गाइस एवरीवन, मतलब नेक्स्ट सीजन तो ऑब्वियसली दैट इज द थिंग ना, तो दैट मींस एम्बापे अपने मन में तो बोल रहा है भाई फ्री में जा रहा है, बट इन केस बेसिकली यू नो से PSG आर एबल टू एक्सटेंड हिम, right? Maybe for a year, just for the sake of it, or extension thai, I think if not wrong, the clause was there, right? With an option to extend for 1 year. So Bala, what do you think will be the change in the market value of Mbappe? What should be the fair price? I know it's never a fair price when you're talking hundreds of millions, लेकिन क्या होगा realistically for Real Madrid?
I think Mbappe should go for around 180 ke around. I think Mbappe should
We're
go
talking
for
euros,
around,
right? 180 million
yeah,
euros.
180 million euros.
Wow.
I think that's steep. That's steep, but I think in a market where Declan is going for 100, and even seeing Declan going for 100, Brighton have pushed their ceiling for Caicedo to 100. So so I mean the market has inflated again. So I think it's 180 for Mbappe.
180. Okay, cool, man. He should, but as of now, they're planning to extend contract. God knows how you will convince that guy. Why they swap? That is the thing, na. Malab, one can extend only if basically the person wants to sign. You cannot force someone, right? Or
Exactly.
basically, jo bola Khalifi bola, where are you on this, Guruji? Like maybe Khalifi is still in old school only there. By apna verbal agreement hua hai. I am like disappointed, shocked, and all, but मतलब that's the reality of how things are. मतलब I know हम बात कर रहे थे about people recording videos and putting it, जो दिसंबर से फरवरी में मेसी माउंट चेल्सी के बीच भी हो रहा था ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं Mbappe has basically done what every footballer would do in today's day and age, or from Mbappe's perspective, मतलब is he doing something wrong? क्योंकि he's a Frenchman after all.
No, he's not doing anything wrong. I mean, if you look at the team dynamics as well, Messi has left, and Neymar, although Neymar is still there, with the new coach also coming into perspective, you you were seeing a PSG team who still hasn't won the Champions League, right?
Hmm.
And I think he's still Mbappe being Mbappe right now. He's seen the fact कि भाई अभी अभी वर्ल्ड कप में भी डिबाकल हुआ, वर्ल्ड कप में भी इतने क्लोज आके इतने दूर थे from the coveted trophy. Champions League they have not been able to win. So Mbappe also as a personal from personal ambition perspective, I think he would be looking to move to a club who which is likely to win that, and who which what better club to go to than Real Madrid, who are absolutely the bosses of the Champions League, right? So I think that is what is also going on in the head of Kylian Mbappe. And तुम जितना भी उसको तुम प्रॉब्ली ओनर जैसा आप स्टेक भी दे दो पीएसजी में, इन द एंड आपके अंदर वो प्लेयर की भावना फिर भी जागेगी, कि प्लेयर के एम्बिशन की भावना फिर भी जाएगी कि मुझे एक ट्रॉफी जीतना है. नॉट एवरी प्लेयर वुड बी एन ऑस्कर फॉर दैट मैटर. सो या
बिल्कुल. चल रियल मैड्रिड का भला बाय द वे मैं हाईलाइट भी कहता हूँ गाइस, वी विल बी कमिंग टू एवरी क्लब. थोड़ा सा विल डू इट इन अ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मैनर, तो भाई एकदम हैपेजार्ड नहीं होगा. ये सिर्फ ट्रांसफर्स कनेक्ट अदर क्लब्स ऑब्वियसली विल बी डिस्कसिंग वो दैट, लेकिन सब क्लब्स को कवर करेंगे, टेंशन नहीं लेने का. तो भाई यहाँ पर आर्डा गुलर टेकन फ्रॉम बार्सिलोना, कहीं ना कहीं ही इज supposedly the next Ozil ने बात की है. There are a lot of stories already, and AC Milan were also strongly after him, लेकिन उसका price value plus the fact that Real Madrid Barca were there, no it close. लेकिन in terms of fitment कैसे देखते हो Arda Güler kind of versus Barca? I think Real Madrid makes sense because Brahim Diaz, with all due respect, यार, he's never going to be a starter at Real Madrid, right?
yeah, he's not going to be a starter. I think it's a bench strength wala zone. Arda Guler also, if I'm looking at him as a starter, then unjustly यार Rodrigo को आपको बिठाना पड़ेगा. तो I that is, और हाँ रॉड्रिगो को बिठाना पड़ेगा. एंड अगेन व्हेन रॉड्रिगो की रोटेशन पे आप वाल्वर्डे को उधर खिला रहे थे राइट विंग पे. तो आई मीन विद आर्दा गुलेर कमिंग इन, आर्दा गुलेर इज आल्सो नॉट अ, मतलब he will take time to come into the first team squad. But I've seen Arda Guler ka Arda Guler ke clips. I've read things about him as well. The man's tenacity भी नहीं बोलूंगा. The man has got some good flair with his feet, and he's got really good dribbling skills as well. And just outside the box on the right half spaces में वो बहुत अच्छा operate करता है Guler. So I feel with all of these characteristics, with all of these traits, he is like a perfect fit for Madrid. But in his first season, I don't see him as a starter.
हाँ, तो मतलब सेंसिबल चीज क्या होगा, मतलब राइट अवे, मतलब शुड दे सेंड हिम ऑन लोन एंड गेट सम लाइक प्रॉपर just say
Yeah, they should send him on loan to a certain London club called Chelsea Football Club. Yeah,
मैं
and
उस पर आने वाला था, भाई,
we'll take
because
good
I'm
care
बोला
of
ना,
him.
in terms of someone who has really good skills on his feet,
Yeah, we
and वो
need
एक चीज.
someone. भाई डेप्थ चाहिए राइट विंग पे. भाई मतलब नॉनी मादुए के कितना करेगा अकेले राइट विंग पे ब्रो.
बाय द वे
मतलब
एक बंदा ऑलमोस्ट मुझे लग रहा था 2 दिन पहले कि हो जाएगा, क्योंकि भाई हिज क्लब वाज इंटरेस्टेड इन टेकिंग आर पुलिसिक एंड मे बी रायन शेरकी हो जाता, वो भी
हाँ
काफी अच्छा है. बट कंपेयर टू आर्दा गुलर, जो मैंने देखा थोड़ा बहुत, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू क्लेम कि दोनों को बहुत ज्यादा देखा है, जो भी देखा है वीडियोस, भाई व्हाट आई इट सीम्स लाइक रायन शेरकी का, आई थिंक वो जो एग्रेसिव प्रेसिंग जो पॉच एक्सपेक्ट करेगा ना, आई थिंक प्रॉब्ली दैट इज द ओनली पार्ट दैट इज प्रॉब्ली नॉट दैट लेवल. लेकिन आई हियर यू, मतलब वी नीड वन प्लेयर देयर, क्योंकि I think Gabri Vega is someone that we are going with. Looks like it. Dybala, I know last 24 hours में बहुत न्यूज आ रही है, although reliable
क्रेजी.
न्यूज तो नहीं है.
क्यों
But
मैं बस जोशुआ कमेंट ले सॉरी यार जोशुआ कमेंट
please,
लेना चाह
please.
रहा. गुलेर कैन प्ले इन रॉड्रिगो's position because mostly Rodrigo will be the striker or central player. Rodrigo as a striker or central player, I'm still not very convinced with. Whenever he's played as a striker or a central player, he's not looked that convincing. The chemistry that I see a number 9, a traditional number 9 having with Vinicius, allowing him to make those off the ball movements in the left space, allowing him to do that. That chemistry is something that I have not seen with Rodrigo as a number 9 or as a central striker. So I still believe he's an inside forward for me. He's best deployed as an inside forward, and definitely they Real Madrid do need a number 9 if they want to continue exploiting this Vinicius Junior ka explosiveness on that left. And I think so that is their motive in the end, because after Benzema, the next best star in that attacking phase will definitely be Vinicius Junior for them.
नहीं बोले टू मैन अपफ्रंट में फिर भी आई थिंक रोड्रिगो इज ओके बट आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं आई डोंट थिंक रियल मैड्रिड विल चेंज द वे दे प्ले मतलब लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट एज मच एज लास्ट सीजन वाज नॉट एज कन्विंसिंग रियल मैड्रिड इज रियल मैड्रिड यार आई डोंट थिंक इतना ज्यादा चेंज करेंगे बेंजेमा इज ह्यूज होल लेकिन वी ऑल नो दैट कहीं ना कहीं एक एम्बापे एलिमेंट तो है यार मुझे तो लगता है वही है यू नो आई नो दैट ही इज नॉट योर परफेक्ट सेंट्रल स्ट्राइकर इज नॉट अ बेंजेमा लेकिन समवन लाइक एम्बापे आई थिंक वो वॉइस किया है काफी बार दैट ही वांट्स टू बी द मेन मैन एज अ नंबर 9 वो होना चाह रहा है तो मे बी दैट्स समथिंग दैट मे बी दे शुड ट्राई बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट द गाय वांट्स बट कमिंग बैक टू चेल्सी ब्रो मतलब अगेन फॉर समवन हु इज वाचिंग ला लीगा एज वेल भाई देखो गैब्री वेगा ऑप्शन है डिबाला ऑप्शन है रोमा से 12 मिलियन का रिलीज क्लॉज है ठीक है आई ऑल्दो डिबाला वाला ये जरूर बोलूंगा दैट
रीनेगोशिएटिंग चल रही है ना उसकी तो रीनेगोशिएटिंग चल रही है ना उसके क्लब के साथ टू मतलब इंक्रीज हिज सैलरी एंड गेट दैट रिलीज क्लॉज आउट
बट आई बिलीव दैट डिबाला वाला स्टोरी इतना रिलायबल नहीं है नोइंग द सोर्सेज बट स्टिल मतलब अगर आप टैक्टिकली बात करो हो रहे तो व्हाई नॉट बिकॉज वी रिमेंबर गेटिंग सम ट्रांसफर्स जस्ट लाइक दैट अपने चेल्सी फैन बेस ऐसा भी है मतलब इफ यू एक्चुअली थिंक अबाउट इट if we get proper DM, I know Caicedo 100 million आपने already message already बोल दिया है 100 million by chance just by chance होगा नहीं by chance if we pull out of the deal I'm just saying worst case scenario although we need him very desperately क्योंकि he's not like a pure DM you know what I mean proper he's not a John Obi Mikel per se he's not a McAllen you know अगर हमें एक लाना है proper DM then I think Dybala may actually tactically work as well क्योंकि you have basically all the three elements because you have Enzo who has voiced uske I think dad has said that I want or we want Enzo to kind of you know be a little bit further up we don't want Enzo doing the defensive work so with Caicedo Enzo you probably need a third guy with more say ability to come back and do a lot of defensive work although Dybala improved kiya under Mourinho
but मैं बोलूंगा Dybala is more I think suited to a second striker position
exactly
second striker and coming inside from the right or attacking those half spaces on the right so Dybala ka matlab Dybala was being used well by Roma but it's almost like up jo player profile before he got confused Kai Havertz the player profile is almost similar to a Kai Havertz when we got him from Bayern when we got him इट्स नॉट जब वो चला गया हमारे इधर से तो ही इज अ लॉस्ट प्लेयर बट व्हेन वी गॉट हिम it was almost similar to Kai Havertz when you talk about Paulo Dybala right he's that advanced playmaker on the right and he will give you those runs also on the right as a second striker right so I think Dybala up very good option to have on the right for us because आपके पास नॉनी मैडुएके जो हैं वो बहुत डायरेक्ट हैं प्रॉपर ड्रिबलर हैं स्पीड हैं ही इज लाइक अ प्रॉपर विंगर on the right and a winger who can cut in and unleash those left footers as well but when you get Dybala आपको बहुत आपको एक additional clinicality आएगी and और एक versatility आएगी in terms of your striker position. I know we are not playing that many games this season, but as of now, the only two strikers we have is Armando Broja and Mr. जो अरे बिलारी कैसे नाम भूल गया यार मैं Nicholas Jackson, right? Only two strikers, traditional strikers we have are there, right? आप बोलोगे कि एनकुंकू भी उधर खेल सकता है, but एनकुंकू का रोल नंबर 10 ही रहेगा. So आप एंकुंकू को आप उधर ज्यादा ट्राई नहीं खिलाओ करोगे खिलाने को उधर कि आप तू आ उधर अगर ये तो इंजर्ड है तू खेलेगा उधर बिकॉज फिर नंबर
गुरुजी I feel that आप अगर देखो एंकुंकू जैसे lot of people who kind of start on the right hand side or behind the striker have become also of late मतलब for example Pulisic is a guy I remember when he was in Dortmund he used to play more right or maybe behind the striker compared to left side लेकिन Pulisic eventually kind of became more comfortable on the left hand side बहुत लोग एंकुंकू मुझे it comes across as almost that if you saw the recent year or so he's even better when it kind of comes from the leftist channel. So by what I'm saying is not a winger, but if you're telling me that you're having two people behind a striker, okay, then he's more. Agar aap aise Dybala and Nkunku, just think about it. Dybala and Nkunku, remove Sterling. Although he earns 350k per week,
No, no,
350k
I'll
thousand per week.
I'll get to Sterling, but आप पहले बोलो.
So you can have that, and that's why I'm saying that you need proper defensive-minded players behind them. So if you want Enzo to do exactly what he's best at, which is exactly he's good at everything, but we can get more out of Enzo. I still believe. Okay, so we need more defensive players वहाँ पर. तो have we like again made a mistake by letting a certain N'Golo Kante go? I know injuries was the reason, contract issues was the reason, salary was the reason, etc. But I think people who are either destroyers or people who are proper defensive minded players probably are more suited. अगर दिबाला को fit होना है, क्योंकि I don't see, जैसे आपने बोला Madueke का, I agree, there are two plan A plan B. Madueke could, Mudrik could be, और proper हमें जब width रखना है, जब हमें विट नहीं रखना, हमें बेसिकली सेंट्रल कोर में करना है, जो पोचेटिनो लाइक्स डूइंग, बाय द वे ही लाइक्स हिज फुल बैक्स टू बॉम ऑन, जो आपने देखा ही है इन अ कपल ऑफ क्लब्स. तो विद दैट आई थिंक it becomes a plan B. So I think Dybala as a plan B is not too bad, but again, are we defensive enough in midfield? क्योंकि हमारी midfield खाली है. कौन है midfield? हम पढ़ू.
हाँ, midfield तो I mean right now more than I think we're going, the whole rumor around Dybala is probably because यार 12 million में मिल रहा है. ठीक है, why would you not get it? सादिक भाई, why would you get Dybala when you have better and more physical version of him in Nkunku?
अभी समझा है वही
सादिक भाई वही but Nkunku, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ सादिक भाई कि वो होल में खेलेगा, एक नंबर 10 रहेगा मोस्टली हमारे लिए, and try to release the person up front or play as a second striker with the traditional center forward. I think that is what I'm looking at, but I think it will be a 4-2-3-1. Pochettino is stringent with the 4-2-3-1 mostly, and 4-2-3-1 में वो 3 वाले midfield में बीच में खेलेगा Nkunku, and I think that is where we are going to make him operate. पर जब आप the point that you're trying to make, yes, we need our wingers to not be concerned about so much about their defensive duties. If you remember Pochettino का Tottenham reign के बारे में, when Tottenham went into the Champions League final, Lucas Moura tha, and all of those wingers, right, at that particular point of time, the fullbacks were still tasked with tracking back and doing their job, right. Wingers, although yes, they were asked to track back, but they were asked to maintain their positions in the attacking phase during that season. Also, when both wingers and the fullbacks were in an isolated space up front, and they used to leave spaces in behind, there used to be a Musa Dembele, if you remember, the tenacity.
बिल्कुल. और उसका switch off play was उसका जो great था ना, the left foot man, I still remember switch off play,
the tenacity of Musa Dembele, right, and Musa Dembele था and Sissoko था उनके पास, ठीक है, at that particular point of time, right. Imagine that Dembele profile is what we need to release Enzo Fernandez. ठीक है, that Dembele profile, bullish, ठीक है, bullish, mobile, and able to cover spaces when the fullbacks are bombing up front, able to cover spaces when you are facing a counter. ठीक है, that is the profile that we need. That is the player that we need. If we feel that is Caicedo, great. But Caicedo के साथ भी हमको depth चाहिए bench पे. Because bench पे, even if we are not playing the Champions League, even we are still playing the FA Cup, we are still playing the Carling Cup, we are still playing the Community Shield.
Number 6,
not Community Shield.
We need a second number 6.
We are playing the Carling Cup, right? We are playing the Carling Cup. We are still in some competitions at least, right? We need a number 6 who is combative enough, who can cover spaces. ठीक है, Maguire लोगे क्या नहीं चाहिए, but we need that kind of a profile who can then assist Enzo, who can release Enzo in terms of his through passes. ठीक है, कि मतलब Enzo को बोले कि तू अपने डीप लाइन प्ले मेकर जैसा काम कर, मैं रहेगा एक एंकर, ठीक है, डीप लाइन प्ले मेकर एंड एन एंकर. Then you have the 3 in front of you as Modric.
Actually, that is the reason why I believe we were going for Ugarte also, मतलब to some extent.
Exactly.
जो Palinia has that, इसलिए मैंने highlight
किया. Exactly.
हम जा ही नहीं रहे यार पाली, हम तो अलग ही सोच रहे हैं, पता नहीं मतलब.
हाँ, exactly. Palinia, but but Palinia is, I would prefer Palinia over Caicedo. I'm like I'm giving a very bold.
It's a no-brainer गुरुजी, because देखो मतलब हम बेसिकली एक फीटिश रखे, मैं हर एक स्ट्रीम में रैंड कर रहा हूँ भाई इसके बारे में. I like the fact that we are building for the future, Why? But we are not a Leipzig, bro. With all due respect to Leipzig and Salzburg and the Brightons and the Southamptons, we are not that, bro. We are Chelsea. तो कहीं ना कहीं it should be a mix. It should be a balance. और Pochettino ने बोला अपने interview में about leaders. You cannot have 9 starters who are 21 years old. Please, you're not going to win
Yeah.
anything. Let's be real about
Yeah.
it. ठीक है, हम बार्सिलोना नहीं है, bro. और उसमें भी आपको याद है तो भाई 2-3 बहुत अच्छे players थे when we had that.
But
The
Pochettino has a good knack for working with younger players.
Yes,
And
yes.
a very good knack of working with younger players, and he showed it. As Sadiq Bhai said, he showed it in his glory days at Tottenham as well. so, and he's my I think previous और एक कोई podcast में मैं बात कर रहा था कि he takes these bold decisions of freezing out first team players. ठीक है, if they don't buy into his philosophy.
And
Right.
giving breaks, मतलब trusting them, youngsters को whether to trust them more.
Exactly. If youngsters are bred into Cobham, are bred into his own philosophy, because youngsters are more malleable, so to speak. ठीक है, तो उनको वो चांस देता ही देता है. उसके आई थिंक काइल वॉकर, बेर्नार्डो टसू, क्योटो, आडबायोर, ये 3 बड़े प्लेयर्स थे उस टाइम पे when he came into Tottenham, and he freezed them out. They left that season. He freezed them out, and then that's where we saw Kieran Trippier coming into the picture. That's when we saw Kieran Trippier coming into the picture. So yeah, I mean, expecting good things now.
पाली ने 50 million की बात हो रही थी अमन, लेकिन मतलब just extending the conversation to Chelsea for the timing, and we'll come to other clubs as well. भाई again जो second हम number 6 की बात कर रहे हैं ना भाई, मतलब again it fails me actually कि यार why aren't we going for some experience in that second choice of the midfielder. Say for example Palhinha versus maybe हम जो जा रहे हैं रोमियो लाविया के लिए. I know अभी तो लिवरपूल आर्सेनल भी इंटरेस्टेड लग रही है, but I think Romeo Lavia is one name. 50 million, why would you shed out for someone? Matlab, if you anyways shed out 50 million on that, I'd rather save that money for making one top signing, say for a goalkeeper or a striker, rather than have a second choice or rather a bench central midfielder. You know what I mean? अगर वो future भी है, क्योंकि हमारे पास बहुत youngsters हैं जो maybe can also become future. We have signed just about 15,000 youngsters, bro.
And Lavia is not an anchor man. Like
Exactly. वो Caicedo जैसे है. Exactly. He's more like a Caicedo.
Lavia is a box to box kind of a person. He's not an anchor man. We need an anchor man who can like sit in front of our defense and let Enzo do his job. Okay? Because Enzo likes to come up front as well. And we have seen that when Enzo comes up front, he does a good job as well. So why not let him be a box to box person rather than just a deep line playmaker? So we should, if we have to release Enzo, if we are making a project around Enzo, we need an anchor man.
Yes, absolutely भाई. लेकिन obviously यहाँ पर talk about anchor man अपना Santos यार, Andros Santos जो join किया pre-season. There was an interest from Porto, and I know his idol, that is of course Casemiro was at Porto, we all remember, और कहीं ना कहीं उसका जो career चल गया था ना. But Fabrizio ने बोला है that he's not going, so looks like Andres Santos will be part of the plans of Chelsea. That's good to know, क्योंकि I think coming from Brazil, although बहुत promise दिखाया, it's important for them to be acclimatizing to the Premier League sooner than later. और I think he's arguably आप बोल सकते हो if he really does well in a few matches, क्योंकि हमारे पास सब experience चले गया. You never know, you might just see being Pochettino, आप देखोगे starts here from Andres Santos. That is quite possible. But striker situation क्या बोल रहे हो यार गुरुजी? एंड अगेन काफी लोग नाम बोल रहे बहुत ना ब्लाहोविच. लग रहा था अगर पुलिसिक का डील हो जाता, जैसे हमने बोला रायन चेरकी का स्वैप डील में यूज कर सकते थे एज अ वेटेज, बट पुलिसिक लुक्स लाइक इज गोइंग टू मिलान 22 million पर. थिंग्स आर गोइंग पॉजिटिव इन टर्म्स ऑफ द कन्वर्सेशन. तो लोटारो तो भाई रियलिस्टिक नहीं लग रहा भाई. इंटर पैसे नहीं दे रहे 10 million फॉर लुकाकू इटसेल्फ. कहाँ लोटारो देने वाले यार? नो वे दे आर गोइंग गिविंग लोटारो राइट इन लेस देन 100 million. और ऑसी में तो 150 million. तो भाई रियलिस्टिक, are we really going with Broja and Jackson? मतलब are you as a Chelsea
bro
fan?
let's get Wilfried Zaha, bro. let's get Wilfried Zaha. In the end we will get Wilfried Zaha free. वैसे भी free transfer ही है, अभी free agent है, ठीक है. We'll get Wilfried Zaha and he will be a proper Chelsea player. But no, yeah, jokes aside, I think the striker situation is not as worrisome as the what do you say, center midfield situation. I'm not that much worried about the striker situation right now, because I think in Broha and Nicholas Jackson we still have to not top level strikers. I wouldn't say they are top level strikers, but still two mid level strikers who are decent enough for us to run this season through. ठीक है, because चैंपियंस लीग में नहीं है ना हम तो टेंशन क्या है, मतलब लेट्स give these two strikers a chance, rotate these two strikers through, and God forbid if there comes a chance for us to have uh, for us to have an opportunity to play a third person there. I see Raheem Sterling playing as a striker there, and I'll give you my reasoning also there. Raheem Sterling, um, since his Liverpool days or since his Manchester City days, is a different player. You don't associate Raheem Sterling with pace anymore. You don't associate Raheem Sterling with dribbling more than the fact that he has a good eye for a good eye for a pass when positioned centrally, or when positioned in those half spaces rather than being employed in the width of the pitch. Right? He has. I have seen this in the last season with Sterling as well. That when he moves into the central areas, just outside the box or 30 yards or 40 yards away from the goal, when he moves into those central areas, his game awareness is a little bit better than जब वो लेफ्ट पे रहता है. So I think that is
He's
something
not a
that
creator anymore, is what you're trying to say. I'm guessing what he
he's
used to
not
be
a
at early Liverpool days.
creator, but he links up play really well around him
Hmm.
when he is in the center. So I think playing him, if you want to play a false nine, for example, if Pochettino wants to go with the false nine and have those inside forwards like a Noni and Mudryk playing there, uh, I still feel that he can do a good job. Why not? I still feel that he can do a
Okay.
job because he gives another, as I said, he gives another option to Pochettino. You have Nicholas Jackson, who's a pacey dribbler as a
Mhm.
center forward. You have Armando Broja as probably a target man as well, or a poacher as well, because yes, he can do both those profiles really easily. And you have a Sterling who can play nicely as a false nine.
नहीं मतलब इट कुड बी मतलब वही है इफ्स एंड बट्स वाला चीज है और लेकिन पॉच इज रेडी टू दैट अब थिंग इज आई नो पॉटर का अलग सिनेरियो था ऑल टुगेदर एंड पॉच इज लिटिल बिट मोर एक्सपीरियंस्ड ऑब्वियसली एट द टॉप मोस्ट लेवल बट विल द स्टैमफोर्ड ब्रिज फेटफुल गिव हिम द टाइम वो देखते हैं मतलब टाइम विल टेल बट आई नो काफी लोग मेसन माउंट का रिएक्शन जानना चाह रहे हैं भाई मैंने काफी सारे मतलब बाय द वे सब लोग यहाँ पर एक ऑल ब्लू शो किया था हमने आई थिंक शुरू किया आई थिंक विल हैव गुरुजी अगेन ऑन दैट एज वेल तो वहां पर हम डिस्कस करते हैं बेसिकली इन एंड आउट्स ऑफ चेल्सी ड्यूरिंग द ट्रांसफर विंडो राइट बेसिकली स्पीकिंग और ट्रिब्यूट्स एक्सेट्रा तो उसमें मैंने प्रॉपर रैंट ऑलरेडी हो गया मेरा तो भाई मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू हो गया वहां पर लेकिन थोड़ा मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड की बात कर ही लेते हैं क्योंकि मेसन माउंट का हुआ तो स्टार्टिंग विद हिम इटसेल्फ गुरुजी लाइक मतलब रियल ट्रूथ नो वन नोज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड क्योंकि देयर आर टू टोटली डिफरेंट स्टोरीज व्हिच आर कमिंग थ्रू लाइक मेसन माउंट बोल रहा है भाई मतलब हिज कैंप इज सेइंग दैट वी गॉट अ प्रपोजल व्हिच वाज बेसिकली इन टर्म्स विद व्हाट ही एक्सपेक्टेड बिफोर द वर्ल्ड कप और बाद में इट गॉट चेंज टू अ 1 ईयर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आफ्टर द न्यू डायरेक्टर्स केम एंड टुक ऑफिस ठीक है और वो इट गेव हिम द सिग्नल्स दैट ही इज नॉट इन द लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान्स ऑफ चेल्सी ठीक है लेकिन भाई दूध का दूध पीता हुआ बच्चा नहीं है सब बेसिकली ही ऑलवेज मतलब टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ सीजन वी न्यू दैट लास्ट गेम तक पता था कि पोचेटिनो आने वाला है राइट वी ऑलमोस्ट न्यू दैट pretty sure Pochettino उसके बीच में बात हुई थी and we are talking about that guy who has a little bit of defensive element plus shots plus centrally able to play a little bit wide are we not talking about Mason Mount the profile तो भाई that is exactly the player Pochettino would love तो अगर
Yeah.
Mason Mount बोल रहा है I'm not in Chelsea's plan so either Chelsea is basically disrespecting Pochettino सुन नहीं रही है नकार रही है जो भी Pochettino wants or basically he's lying bro what is the मतलब what do you think is the truth because as much as bittersweet है बहुत इमोशनल था मैं at the same time angry भी था we really can only speculate now right
Yeah, we can only speculate. But when he said 6 months back, I think he mentioned this. No, 6 months back, he was not. He understood that he was not in Chelsea's plans.
वही वर्ल्ड कप के जस्ट बाद बेसिकली
He mentioned a timeline as well, if I'm not wrong. So mentioning that timeline was मेरे लिए थोड़ा सा मतलब क्या बोलते हैं, disturbing is a very severe word, but let's go with that. Because I feel that okay, fine. When Pochettino came into the picture, he must have analyzed कि भाई ठीक है, इतने सब लोग हैं मेरे पास, ये सब, these are the people that I have with me, right? And this Mason Mount fits that number 8 wala zone for me as well.
Hmm.
But I'll give you two case points here. One case point being is Pochettino must have realized by that time that this harakiri that Mason Mount is having with the Chelsea board regarding his contract and all of that stuff, I don't want a person who is probably like a 75% in at Chelsea Football Club right now. I want a person who's like 100%
हाँ,
in
वो
at
उसके
Chelsea
इंटरव्यू से
Football Club.
क्लियर था कि दैट इज वन ऑफ द मेन थिंग्स जो वो
Yeah,
देख
yeah.
रहा है प्लेयर में.
Pochettino is, matlab, I'm reading his book as well, Brave New World, and whatever I found out from that book so far is Pochettino is a person who will not look at a player firstly because of that person's talent. He look at the player firstly uh, from a standpoint whether he's absolutely committed to where
कमिटमेंट इज द की.
Pochettino wants to go, or where Pochettino wants the club to go to, right?
बिल्कुल.
So
काइल
that
वॉकर वाज एन एग्जांपल आई थिंक.
वही तो मैं बोल रहा था, वही मैं बोल रहा था,
हाँ.
वही उस टाइम पे वही बोल रहा था. काइल वॉकर, आडबायोर, बेनोइट असू, एकोटो, ये 3
या.
प्लेयर थे. ठीक है. सो ये 3 प्लेयर लाइक हाई प्रोफाइल प्लेयर्स. आई रिमेंबर दैट काइल वॉकर, आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल आल्सो. काइल वॉकर केम, एक बार कोई पोचेटिनो वाज न्यूकासल का जो दे हैड लॉस्ट अगेंस्ट न्यूकासल बिफोर गोइंग इनटू द यूरोस, टॉटनहम, एंड आफ्टर, सो Pochettino didn't give a message out to these people. Pochettino didn't wish them at all when they went to the Euros. He didn't wish any of his players. When they came back, Pochettino held a meeting, and he was in the meeting. The agenda of the meeting was for him to describe the mistakes that these players had made at that particular point of time. His original idea was just to sit there and let his assistant do the job. Uh,
हम्म.
but then he saw Kyle Walker was like the last person to walk into the meeting. Kyle Walker was like late for the meeting.
या. हम्म.
Then he bashed the team as a whole. He stood up, he bashed the team as a whole, right? And I think that is what the man is made of. That is what the man is made of. So I think that is case one. He didn't
हम्म.
want a person who is probably 70, who has one leg out of Chelsea Football Club, right? Didn't want that person there. Secondly, second case point could also be the fact that जब आप Mason Mount को देख रहे हो, he's a number 8. ठीक है, I think he's a number 10, but he can play as a number 8. ठीक है. We don't want a number 8. We don't want a number 8. That's what the point of this discussion is.
या हम लोग वही बात कर रहे थे. इधर वी नीड अ प्रॉपर डीएम या हमें चाहिए नंबर 10 हु कैन क्रिएट मोर. एग्जैक्टली. और लेफ्ट फुटेडनेस भी हम मिस कर रहे हैं. एंड दैट्स अ ब्रिलियंट पॉइंट बिकॉज हैवर्ट्स, जिएश साथ में आर लिविंग, एंड जिएश मच एज हुआ नहीं अभी तक. वी नो दैट ही इज गोइंग. तो भाई वो एक लेफ्ट फुटेडनेस भी मे बी हम इसलिए बात कर रहे थे, मे बी अबाउट द प्लेयर्स दैट वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट, राइट? एज इन, but at any point, Mason Mount to tell that I'm not in Chelsea's plans also, is saying otherwise. On the other hand, how does he fit into Manchester United? Because Manchester United, as much as Casemiro बहुत ही brilliant था, in this day and age, जो Real Madrid के लिए रोल करता था, do you think he could come back to doing that role for Manchester United? Because now that he'll play Bruno,
I don't know. I've been trying to, tell myself that, hey, Adidev, are you wrong in freaking assessing this player? Because I've been reading athletic articles, I've been reading stuff on the internet, and I've been reading data FB. So वो लोग data से prove कर रहे हैं कि यार मतलब first touch and getting the ball out from deep, this is something that he is that he is good in. I'm like, आई टेस्ट से तो दिखा नहीं मुझको.
exactly, bro. मतलब
I've been like, I've followed him since his debut at the club. मतलब दिखा तो नहीं, मतलब कि क्या दिखा.
I would term him like the guy who gives the pre-assist. That's the best way of putting him.
If you were thinking of playing him, because I've seen Eriksen, matlab, he's like the first line of the midfield to get the ball out from deep, and combination playmate to get the ball out from deep with Casemiro.
जो टोनाली करने वाला न्यूकासल में, looks like it.
जो टोनाली करने वाला न्यूकासल में. So he's that person जो हमारे लिए कोवाचिच था एक टाइम पे. ठीक है, कोवाचिच था, जो कोवाचिच था एक टाइम पे, क्योंकि जॉर्जिनियो
bro, Guruji and me are Kovacic big fans, you know that. But anyway,
bro, I had to get Kovacic into the conversation without you even mentioning about him. But yeah, I mean that's the point I'm trying to make. If you feel that Eriksen के जगह पे Mason Mount आएगा, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I can't, because there's another damning stat that I saw on FB Ref, was the fact that Mason Mount falls in the 24th percentile for ball carries. He's not a ball carrying midfielder. ideally you would need someone to carry the
गुरुजी
ball for you.
स्टैट्स में भी वही तो बोल रहा हूँ ना, स्टैट्स समटाइम्स मतलब समटाइम्स इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बट समटाइम्स मिसलीडिंग. आई थिंक मे बी दो स्टैट्स मे बी वुड हैव सेड कि चेल्सी के लिए किया. अब चेल्सी के लिए इज इट द राइट बेंचमार्क? मतलब आई लव माय क्लब एंड आई नो वी आर आर्ग्यूबली, जैसे पॉटन ने बोला, लास्ट 15 साल में वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल क्लब्स, बट वी डोंट प्ले द मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड वे, राइट? एज इन दैट्स अ ह्यूज
Yeah.
डिफरेंस एंड दैट्स व्हाट मैं थोड़ा सा सोच रहा हूँ कि यार दो
See,
स्टैट्स फॉर चेल्सी
huh.
is different than what we have observed. But anyway,
See, he's an animal in as a presser. Okay,
hmm.
like pressing me, he's an animal. He will initiate the press. I'm 100% sure he will initiate your press. He's a pressing animal. Okay, I think that is what uh, even Manchester United were missing as well, who can initiate the press straight up. Bruno was doing that previously.
तो इज इट
But
नॉट टू सिमिलर? दैट वाज माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कि
हाँ,
ब्रूनो और माउंट बहुत सिमिलर हो
तो
गए भाई.
that is why I'm saying कि अभी आप इधर आप ब्रूनो को खिलाओ राइट पे and put Mount as a number 10 right there,
ओके.
because that's where he will be the most effective for you. In my eyes, that's where he will be the most effective for you. He will drop, like he'll not be in between the lines. He'll drop himself
तो
to
प्ले अ
make himself up.
4-2-3-1 यू आर सेइंग विद बेसिकली माउंट बिटवीन में और राइट में ब्रूनो, लेफ्ट
You
में
still
रैशफोर्ड.
need a person who can progress with the ball from midfield. You still need a ball progressor from midfield. Mason Mount is
एग्जैक्टली.
not the Christian Eriksen profile. I am sorry, I will go against everything that is being
नहीं, मैं
written
अग्री
about
करता हूँ,
him.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ
He's
ना. मैं
not.
आपसे क्वेश्चन, व्हाट माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन गाइस, आई दैट्स व्हाट आई आस्क्ड एग्जैक्टली. आई एग्री विद गुरुजी बिकॉज़ कैसेमीरो आज के दिन में आई डोंट सी हिम बीइंग द ओनली मैन देयर, बिकॉज़ आई डोंट काउंट माउंट sitting next to him and doing what Eriksen is able, मतलब different. I would say
Yeah,
at certain things वो better भी है Eriksen से, absolutely, लेकिन
yeah.
he's not Eriksen, you know what I mean? तो वो
Uh,
चीज मतलब, और अगर आप अगर एरिक्सन से कन्विंस नहीं हो, आई नो दैट ही इज गुड बट इज नॉट व्हाट ही यूज्ड टू बी, राइट? तो आप
hmm.
एक और लोगे, इसलिए शायद यही बात चल रही है ना गुरुजी. दैट कम्स टू माय नेक्स्ट वन. आई नो ओनाना पर बहुत न्यूज आ रही है, बट एक और न्यूज आ रही है कि मैकटोमिने फ्रेड विल बी
Hmm.
लेट गो, ठीक है? और मैकटोमिने ब्राइटन आर इंटरेस्टेड एंड सारा मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड ना कि जस्ट मेसन माउंट लिया हमसे, हो सकता है दे टेक काइसेडो आल्सो ब्रो. देन व्हाट?
No, they won't take Caicedo. I think Caicedo was just like them telling us कि यार मतलब showing spite कि मतलब हमको माउंट नहीं दे रहे हो तो अभी देखो तुम्हारा ट्रांसफर टारगेट छीनेंगे. ठीक है, जब हमने माउंट दे दिया दे बैक्ड ऑफ. ठीक है, सो आई डोंट थिंक से दे विल गो फॉर Caicedo. ओनाना इज तो मतलब it's become a necessity for them now. ठीक है, सो हमारे लिए उतना नेसेसिटी नहीं है. आई डोंट थिंक सो इट्स अ नेसेसिटी फॉर अस. आई स्टिल बिलीव दैट ठीक है, मतलब केपा को एक सीजन और एक सीजन दे सकते हैं इन between the sticks as a number one. He's not done bad in the latter half of the season last time out. So with
मेरिटोक्रेसी को तो you're fair, but I feel there are two main reasons. एक तो एक फैक्ट है कि you can't get out Kepa with the wages that he's at, ठीक है, and the market value that he obviously Chelsea would want us to command, ठीक है, क्योंकि हमने जो पे किया है, तो एक तो वो प्रॉब्लम है, वो रियलिस्टिक प्रॉब्लम है
correct,
एकदम
correct,
प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो में.
correct,
सेकंड,
correct,
और इसलिए हमने obviously recently Kepa has done better than Edu Mendy, but Edu Mendy was easily sellable compared to Kepa, तो हमने
correct,
वो we have made use
correct.
of it, ठीक है.
In terms of wages,
करेक्ट. एंड द
yes.
सेकंड रीजन मुझे लगता है एक और जो हमने बात की है ब्रीफली, कमिंग बैक टू चेल्सी फॉर जस्ट अ सेकंड गाइस, बट अबाउट दैट लीडरशिप एलिमेंट, कहीं ना कहीं आई थिंक दैट इज अंडररेटेड इन केपा. मतलब वुड यू एग्री विद दैट ही एक्चुअली एड समथिंग, कैरेक्टर, एक लीडरशिप हो गया, मतलब ही हैज दैट
He's
कैरेक्टर
been
व्हिच
he's
प्रॉब्ली.
been he's been a little bit more vocal
हाँ,
in organizing stuff in front of him.
आफ्टर
That's
जॉर्जिनियो स्पेशली.
he's developed that. Yeah, Jorginho was like up top in terms of being vocal on the pitch, right? He was
करेक्ट.
up top there. Okay, but I think Kepa has developed that. But abhi bhi, matlab, I will not still say that he's like right there, matlab, in the level that we are expecting a keeper to organize his line in front of him.
अच्छा, यहाँ सूरज याद दिला रहे, भाई बिग अप टू द चैट यार. अगेन भाई, कम से कम कितने, ऑलमोस्ट 200 पीपल आर वाचिंग अस भाई. दिस स्ट्रीम शुड हैव मिनिमम 250 लाइक्स. और सब लोग यार आदिदेव गुरुज्ञान को प्लीज सब्सक्राइब करिए. मैंने शाउट आउट देना भूल गया, बट आई एम अस्यूमिंग एवरीवन नोज इट बाय नाउ. एंड यस, अ लॉट ऑफ कंटेंट विल बी कमिंग. द पॉइंट इज अबाउट क्वालिटी कंटेंट दैट यू गेट. So big up to everyone who's joined, and हमारा Almighty Sport भी check out करिए. I know that the season has just gotten over and we are not happy being cricket fans as well, but भाई बहुत सारा हम वहां भी करते बातें मैं गुरुजी से
Josh,
अपना
Joshua,
सैफ चैंपियनशिप के बारे में बात करनी है ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा बहुत तो
Joshua बोल रहा है yes very vocal but no one listens.
अच्छा यहाँ पर सूरज याद दिला रहा आम्रबात ऐसा है ना कि बेसिकली
Yeah.
आई डोंट नो अ गाय लाइक आम्रबात अ गाय लाइक जियेश अब not very clubs are wanting. I don't know, very strange क्योंकि even in the Conference League final he was quite good in my opinion in that particular match and generally this season he's not been bad at all. 30 million for Amrabat at 26-year-old, he's not very inexperienced or has the
He was
physicality for
good
the
in the
Premier League.
World Cup also, right? If I'm not wrong.
Exactly. तो
Yeah.
इतना नो ब्रेनर तो मुझे लगता है ये
It's a
हो क्या रहा है
no-brainer.
अमराबाद के साथ
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid has agreed terms with him, ठीक है, but
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid as a club don't want to pay for him 30 million, I don't know, whatever. Then you have Barcelona who tried for a loan deal. Unko they prefer an Oriol Romeo as much as I love him being an ex-Chelsea, Champions League winner. He's not Amrabat, ठीक है. और Chelsea भी यार, if you remember January में, we almost got him as well on the transfer deadline.
Yeah.
Then I remember finally I think it was summer Zakaria came in, right? तो
Yeah.
Amrabat to Manchester United, मतलब हमने जो बात की एक्स्ट्रा मिडफील्डर, but is again him and Casemiro.
I mean, that is the midfielder we need.
We need exactly.
That is the midfielder we need, bro. And I think 30 million, 26-year-old Amrabat, who's done well in the. I saw him in the World Cup as well. He's very tenacious, bro. Matlab, that is the kind of tackling, matlab, lunges into tackles and all of that. भाई मतलब वैसा midfielder चाहिए. Matlab, that is the midfielder we want to pair alongside Enzo. Yes, Enzo also needs to get a little bit disciplined when he with his tackling scenes. But Amrabat is a lot more defensive than Enzo, bro. And I think that is the person that we need as an anchor in front of the three midfielders who can, because जो Dembele वाला profile बोल रहा था, Musa Dembele वाला profile बोल रहा था, that is Amrabat, bro.
He has body strength. He's not too bad. People think भाई ये passer नहीं है भाई. He's not too bad. Having watched enough of Serie A as well, I think
Yeah,
he's decent, bro. मतलब
yeah,
खेल सकता है. Exactly. I think he's made for the Premier League. I genuinely believe that
yeah. He's made for the Premier League. I will take him hands down, bro. Agar if you're paying 30 million or 40 million for him, freaking get him, bro. I don't know why we are not behind him. It's just baffling.
But again, Messi is good. We are trying to move on to other clubs क्योंकि काफी fans है यहाँ पर भाई. I am trying to take as many comments as possible. Again, big up to the chat. Do not forget to hit that like button and check out the panel's channel. Was Mount even the plans of both Poch and Potter? I don't think so. Both managers counted him. So as a player, देखो Potter का तो it's not fair. The question is not fair because एक तो yes, off the pitch issues were there in terms of contract talks. दूसरा he was genuinely injured. Surgery ऐसी मतलब time pass के लिए नहीं होती मेरे भाई. तो he actually was injured. So I think both the reasons के वजह से हुआ था. Plus Potter himself, without due respect, didn't really know what he really wanted at Chelsea. वो bottom line यही है. Poch का मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना, मेरा ये डिसअपॉइंटमेंट सबसे ज्यादा मैसी को आप थे लास्ट ऑल ब्लू शो में. मैंने वही बोला कि भाई तू दे इतना 6 महीने रुका और तू आप यार 16 दिन और रुक जाता. पॉच को आने दे, बात कर फेस टू फेस, टॉकिंग फेस टू फेस एंड डिस्कसिंग द टैक्टिक्स इज डिफरेंट थिंग ऑल टुगेदर. अगेन मतलब कहीं ना कहीं he's made up his mind from February and that's a clear thing. So I think it's a no conversation to be very honest about it. But again बहुत सारे नाम और भी आ सकते हैं. बट मैं बोल रहा हूँ अगर Amrabat is proven there, why not him? But again Manchester United feel that अगर Amrabat is the man, why not? लेकिन मुझे लगता है एरिक्सन के प्रोफाइल वाला बंदा चाहिए मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का, आई फील, बट विद अ बेटर से फिजिकलिटी. व्हाट आई वुड से गुरुजी, दैट मेक्स मोर सेंस एंड दैट इज व्हाई आज कैसेडो का न्यूज़ वापस से थोड़ा बहुत आया दैट ही कुड काइंड ऑफ टर्न इनटू दैट प्लेयर. यू नेवर नो बिकॉज़ अभी बहुत यंग है, कहीं ना कहीं ईटीएच बीइंग ईटीएच, you never know. That is the only thing.
No,
that
I think they will go for someone else. I think so. They will go for a person who has better distribution skills, for that matter, from deep. I think so. They'll go for someone else.
yep Mason Mount wanted number 7. हाँ, लेकिन उसके कारण नहीं गया भाई, मतलब that is definitely Radon भाई. यहाँ पर तो there have been number 7s of Manchester United who not worked as well, so it'll be kind of unfair to put words. लेकिन he's मतलब कैसे मैं बोलूं, it's not even a Beckham, if you remember Guruji, the young days में he used to be a central midfielder, then he became a rightish player. मतलब for me either position में he was like that level of player for Manchester United.
अरे बट
It's very
मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड ने कितना बढ़िया से मतलब इग्नोर किया क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो, वो जो कैप्शन था ना उनका कि नंबर 7 वाला, ठीक है, कि उसको नंबर 7 दिया, तो सबका नाम लिया, एरिक कैंटोना, क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो, फिर डॉट 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 फिर डॉट डॉट डॉट, जस्ट कन्वीनियंटली इग्नोर डेपाय, फिर डॉट डॉट डॉट, मतलब सही है, सही है.
तो भाई सूरज बोल रहे बेसिकली अमराबाद कुड बी अ कैसेमिरो बैकअप. ओके, आई थिंक इज गुड इनफ टू स्टार्ट मैन. आई बिलीव इन प्रीमियर लीग, मुझे जेन्युइनली लगता है. लेकिन लेट्स मूव ऑन यार. थोड़ा बहुत हाँ ओनाना के बारे में बात करना है. ओनाना, आई नो गुरुजी ने आपको बोला दैट बेसिकली इज क्वाइट डुएबल, और ऐसा नहीं कि बेसिकली वी नीड हिम सो बैडली कंपेयर टू मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड, और इन अ वे ओनाना शायद हेल्प कर ले, क्योंकि ओनाना के पैसों से बेसिकली इंटर विल पुट इनटू चेल्सी फॉर लुकाकू. तो दैट इज अ फैक्ट. सो वी इन अ स्ट्रेंज वे वांट दैट. But on the other hand, why do you think clubs are letting a person like Onana go? Matlab, he has really good. And remember, Mendy se pehle we were linked to him when Lampard was there first time. लेकिन उस समय off
But
pitch issues भी थे, price ज़्यादा था.
exactly, to be honest, what happened with Onana at the World Cup as well, I would not want to take the risk of having that dressing room dynamic at Chelsea, because let's face it, our egos in the dressing room are very fragile. When it comes to Chelsea players, historically, this is something that we have seen. Egos at Chelsea Football Club are very fragile, and I would not need another probably potential for another Lukaku episode happening, okay, at Chelsea Football Club. So it's fine if we don't go after an Onana. I think we should look at, if we have an opportunity, we should look at different other. मतलब we should look at other. क्या बोलते हैं, other opportunities. I'll give you a very unpopular shout out. ठीक है, I will give a very unpopular shout out. If DDG का if DDG का thing doesn't get resolved at United, exactly, Adidev just why can't we get him? स्टॉप गैप प्लेयर, व्हाई कांट वी गेट हिम?
भाई एक और हम इंटर की बात कर रहे थे ना, व्हाई नॉट इवन केलोर नवाज, मैं तो बोलता हूँ.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली. सो
एक साल के लिए ठीक है भाई.
हाँ, मेरे लिए, मैं डीडीजी के बारे में इसलिए बोला चाहूंगा, व्हाई कांट वी गेट हिम, एंड ही आल्सो सब्सिडाइज सैलरी में भी शायद आ सकता है, ठीक है, डीडीजी आ सकता है. व्हाई कांट वी जस्ट गेट हिम इनटू द फोल्ड, टेल हिम दैट भाई तुम्हारा कंपटीशन अभी इसके साथ है, केपा के साथ है,
जो स्पेनिश टीम के लिए ऑलरेडी हो चुका है, केपा
exactly
has ousted him in the past.
My point being is exactly that. So he is competing against someone who is also in the fold for the Spain national team, right? Both of them are Spanish, so there will be more healthy competition. I think Manchester United mein what was missing was he felt that there is no competition for his place.
Actually, but on the other hand, Guruji, there is also reports. I know Onana ka, they are bidding again, but knowing Inter, by Inter fans, I know a couple of them are in there. चिंदीगिरी बहुत करते हैं भाई. आप लोग को चाहिए पूरे पैसे, लेकिन जब देना होता है ना पैसा देते नहीं हो भाई आप लोग. लेकिन ये बोलता हूँ that there is also a separate report coming that अभी भी David Dia is not a total no. तो there is a possibility that, लेकिन उसमें क्या होगा, they will still get a goalkeeper. And जैसे आप बोल रहे हो ना, Spanish, their backup is either Netherlands के बाइलो और आपके रॉबर्ट सैंचेज.
Robert Sanchez is a fantastic distributor, bro. He will fit right into
Brighton, correct? Yeah, not a number one anymore.
But I think so. Yeah. Robert Sanchez will be crazy, bro. If they get him, Robert Sanchez will be crazy because because De Zerbi भी, मतलब if you look at De Zerbi का tactic also, when Sanchez was there, De Zerbi uses the keeper as that extra man on the ball. ठीक है, so to counter the opposition का marking. Okay, he uses that extra man on the ball. Sanchez is very good on the ball, so I think he would be an excellent addition to United.
Yeah, I think Emi Martinez, everyone is asking where will he go. मतलब सच में बोले तो good evening रख लेगा भाई उसको तो. They are making some very shrewd signings. But talk about shrewd signings यार, मुझे यहाँ पर लिवरपूल फैन भी दिखे, couple of them. थोड़ा बहुत let's quickly go on to the other clubs as well. देखते क्या होता है मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड, चेल्सी और रियल मैड्रिड का. I think we have discussed these three clubs till now. भाई लिवरपूल ऐसा क्या करती भाई लिवरपूल that they get a basically McAllister for 35 million. But again, Szoboszlai, मतलब जो हम माउंट का प्रोफाइल बोल रहे थे ना, which probably a kind of player Chelsea wanted. Szoboszlai is not too different, to be honest. Why didn't Chelsea, for example, go for it? Or in Liverpool, do you see him starting अगर Thiago fit रहे?
Yeah, Szoboszlai and Thiago are again very different players.
Of
मैंने
course,
जितने
yeah.
yeah,
It's लेकिन
yeah,
जैसे he wants that high energy, high press kind of system. अगर Klopp को वही
yeah,
चाहिए. But
yeah.
लेकिन Thiago, the whole idea about signing
Szoboszlai
was
will
different, right?
Szoboszlai will press from, like, he'll be the first line of counter
Hmm.
press for Liverpool rather than being the second line of the counter press for Liverpool. And I think that is where the difference majorly lies between Thiago and Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai को लेके आके आप शायद थोड़ा competition increase कर रहे हो between, you know, probably like a Luis Diaz, for example, right? For that matter, and also in the number 10 the position as well for Liverpool, because yes, Szoboszlai is a fantastic addition in terms of technicality, uh, but for Liverpool, I think so Mason Mount would have made more sense for
मतलब इट्स नो
Liverpool.
ब्रेनर. आप, मैं वही लास्ट स्ट्रीम में couple of hate comment भी मिले मुझे. मतलब ठीक है आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आई रेस्पेक्ट द चैट, इट्स अ फैन चैनल फॉर ऑब्वियसली फॉर रीजन. मैंने क्लियरली बोला इन टर्म्स में, एज मच एज आई एम बिटर स्वीट, एकदम ऑलमोस्ट विद बिटर टेस्ट इन द माउथ विद मेसन माउंट द वे ही लेफ्ट चेल्सी. लेकिन इफ यू हैव टू आस्क मी, you pay 60 million for Mason Mount or 70 million for Szoboszlai, I would say any day of the week Mason Mount, bro. क्योंकि यार
Hmm.
प्रीमियर लीग प्रोवन है. और बंदा एक्चुअली इफ यू सी द क्लॉप सिस्टम में he's an exact fit. So I am very surprised that they did not go with him. मतलब what would have been the reason, you think? Just वो एक release clause वाला date वाला चीज था, या do you think it is basically Mason Mount की तरफ से he might not be as interested in Liverpool? I don't know. Could be that because initial interest तो था ना. What would have been the reason for that? मतलब it makes me think for sure.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't really comment on this particular question, because this is something that I wondered as well. Because when I'm talking about them missing Thiago and all of that, yes, McAllister is there, and McAllister will start for sure.
हाँ, तो इसलिए मैं
In
बोल रहा हूँ
that,
ना, देखो मैकआलिस्टर से शुरू करेगा. इट्स बिटवीन एंड वन डीएम विल स्टार्ट फॉर श्योर. इधर फैबिनियो हो गया या
Fabinho will
डीएम दैट
start.
यू लुकिंग फॉर.
Fabinho
करेक्ट.
McAllister is looking at. I'm
या
looking at.
बाजेटेज जो भी होगा, तो ये दोनों
Hmm.
तो पक्के है. तो तीसरा इट्स बिटवीन अ सोबोसलाई वर्सेस अ थियागो फिट, एंड इट बिकम्स टू डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ यू हाउ यू वांट टू प्ले फुटबॉल
Exactly,
एक्चुअली.
exactly. So I
तो
mean, Szoboszlai again, he will be fantastic in the half spaces, but I don't see him being uh, like as effective in the central areas, like from the half line, right? I don't see him being effective. I see him being effective in the final third of the pitch. I see him being very effective in the final third of the pitch because he's that kind of a player. But I don't see him as being a creator, so to speak, as being a creator. I see McAllister as this ball of energy. I see Fabinho as this destroyer. They've got that puzzle sorted. Szoboszlai, although is a fantastic player, it will be great to see how Klopp utilizes him, because I will be confused. Okay, how are you going to utilize Szoboszlai and probably
साथ में
to
वो
to
लोग
his
जो
full
कॉम्बिनेशन
potential?
बोल रहे हैं, दैट इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग. बट सूरज यार, वेलकम टू द चैनल यार, एब्सोल्युटली वेलकम टू द फैम, एब्सोल्युटली भाई. सब मेंबर्स, डू नॉट फॉरगेट, we have another level as well. If you want to kind of change the level, by we have another level, another set of perk that I've added just last week, तो आप लोग वो चेक कर सकते हो. लेकिन वेलकम. और अगेन सब मेंबर्स को ये भी रिक्वेस्ट है यार, बाय द वे, मेंबर्स प्रेडिक्शन लीग भाई, हाँ मैं मिला ही था मानव से couple of days back. You all must have seen my stories etc. What a time I had, bro. So Manav actually won the first members prediction league. So there are a lot of contests coming in the coming season B. So don't forget that. So do DM me with your handle, and I will definitely add you to the respective groups. Okay. But yes, let's get to 200 likes, guys, as soon as possible. Or sab log, Adidev Guruji, please, give it a subscribe as well. और FPL का भी आया. The idea भाई, promise ये था. ये to be honest, मैंने अपना promise से भी better किया. तो भाई give me some credit मेरे fan. मैंने बोला था the moment we get to 10K, बेसिकली दोनों अनाउंस होगा. ठीक है, एक पहले अनाउंस कर दिया प्राइस, लेकिन एफपीएल भी करेंगे भाई. आई हैव द स्क्रीनशॉट्स रेडी, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. सही, डेफिनेटली वी हैव एन विनर देयर आल्सो. If Brighton asking more than 80 million, walk away. Cherky for 25 million at Cam and Kone for 35 million double pivot. Kone is ball winner. Manu Kone is that, but again, I would rather pay 80 million for Caicedo, having Premier League experience है ना, बहुत ज्यादा पैसा है, but 100 million मांग रहे हैं. I think मान जाएंगे यार, एक दो प्लेयर ले लो यार, इतने सारे प्लेयर्स हमारे पास.
अभी हाँ मतलब फर्स्ट टीम कैलिबर भी है यार. Caicedo, we need somebody desperately. We need someone to have a first team caliber, proven first team caliber to partner
Exactly.
Enzo Fernandez, like desperately.
भाई साई आपका भी मैं क्वेश्चन दिया हूँ. आई एम कमिंग टू दैट. सोबोस्ले इज वेरी गुड एट सेट पीसेस, बट दे हैव ट्रेंट एंड मैकलिस्टर फॉर द ड्यूटी. हाँ मतलब ठीक है, मतलब अगेन यू ऑलवेज हैव सेट पीस में अनदर पर्सन. दैट्स व्हाई वी स्पोक अबाउट फॉर एग्जांपल दिबाला काइंड ऑफ पर्सन, समवन हु हैज दैट एबिलिटी कंपेयर टू अदर्स. एक एंगल भी देता है, दैट समथिंग दैट ऑलवेज हेल्प्स. क्योंकि आप देखो तो लाइप्जिग में द वे आपको अगर नंबर्स देखना ना अनिमेश, आप देखो आफ्टर एंकुंकू आई थिंक ही वाज सेकंड इन मोस्ट ऑफ दोस नंबर्स. तो आई थिंक दैट मेक्स सेंस दैट he is that guy for them. But will in Liverpool usko milega ki nahi, kyunki there are other players as well, especially a McAllister or maybe a Thiago if fit, who could do not exactly the same but certain things which also he could do maybe even better. Sai Busha, the do Chelsea have shortage of wingers? People are saying yes, but mujhe lagta hai it's a good plan A, plan B. You have, correct Guruji, you have Sterling and Nkunku kind of a little bit more central. I don't think they are like proper wingers, lekin Madueke or Mudrik है who could get you hit. तो I think we have a decent mix, right? और fifth option भी अपना हडसन ओडोय भूल गए यार अपन लोग. I don't think any club is
नहीं
buying
Hudson
it
Odoi,
for a
नहीं
good
नहीं
price.
Hudson Odoi will leave for sure, for sure.
No
For
point
sure.
taking fifth choice, right? But
Yeah, no point.
अब देखते हैं कितने पे जाएगा यार. Let's talk about that. I think we should, क्या roughly 2 weeks. अरे यार प्री
I think
सीजन के पहले सब नहीं होते यार, होना चाहिए लेकिन it's not ideal world. But Guruji, sticking to Liverpool, it's not just the midfield which was not really at that level last season. मैं तो बोलता हूँ even defense में Virgil van Dijk, there are a lot of question marks here. He's not that player who could play each and every game. Konate is brilliant. और कहीं ना कहीं आई नो दैट बहुत सारे लिंक्स आ रहे हैं विद कॉलविल एज वेल. ऑब्वियसली हम तो नहीं देने वाले इस पे. एक और नहीं भाई, माउंट चले गया, हैवर्ड चले गया टू राइवल क्लब, कॉलविल मत दो भाई, मैं तो बोलता हूँ डायरेक्टली. लेकिन
yeah.
अपना एक्स ब्लू बी है ब्रो, अपने मागेही. तो मागेही दे आर रियली इंटरेस्टेड फॉर 50 million. But from Magehi's perspective, will it make sense to go to Liverpool right now?
When we saw VVD in this last season for Southampton, VVD was not great. I think because obviously up until that time that whole Liverpool का saga had happened कि मतलब Southampton ने बोला कि भाई मतलब ये लोग बेकार में फोर्स कर रहे हैं VVD को, मतलब अनएथिकली ये सब चीजें वो सब निकाला था ट्विटर पे. But VVD also मतलब even in his last 2 seasons at Southampton he was fairly average. But when you got him into that Liverpool setup, Klopp and that backroom staff understand how to get the best out of such players. I think with Mark Gui, I think it's going to be the same thing. Feel that guy has got a lot of talent in terms of A, positioning, and B, tenacity. Two talents is ये बहुत अच्छी है Mark Gui में. Tackling and anticipation is something that he needs to improve on a bit. And I think partnering him alongside, you need a partner alongside Virgil van Dijk, right? Yes, Matip. Matip is probably one of their first choice partners with Van Dijk there, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong as well. But
when fit हाँ मैटिप का, लेकिन वो ये ना injuries have like जैसे
but you
Thiago
need
का midfield
somebody
है.
who is that you need somebody who can get those, like Van Dijk gets those diagonals out, right, to beat a high press out to Salah or to probably a Luis Diaz for that. Usually to a Salah for that matter. You need another ball playing defender. Usually Matip, he gets those line breaking passes. He has this knack of getting those line breaking passes from deep as well to ball progression के लिए for Liverpool. You would need a person who's a ball playing defender. I don't know how Mark Guehi is a ball playing center back. You would need a ball playing center back. So I don't
मैं
know
तो
how
बोलता
they
हूँ
are going to.
लेफ्ट फुटेड चाहिए, मतलब ये भी बोलता हूँ लेफ्ट फुटेड बॉल प्लेइंग सेंटर बैक इज समथिंग व्हिच, बिकॉज बहुत ही पूरा प्लान भी है ही नहीं लिवरपूल के पास. आई वुड से दैट दे नीड समथिंग डिफरेंट देयर, बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज इन टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रांजिशंस, क्योंकि दे आर हाई लाइन भी रखते हैं. दैट्स वन मोर थिंग. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो एंगल बनता नहीं फॉर, एंड दे आर इजीली काइंड ऑफ काउंटर्ड ऑन, which is something that which I think Klopp should avoid. Or I think it's just not Margay, or be I think Ignacio here from Sporting. He's also pretty decent, center back. But Tapsoba, I'm surprised that Liverpool are not, going heavily. Spurs are going क्योंकि he would have been a good addition for sure. पता नहीं यार, आप लोग बोलिए chat में सब लोग which is the center back. एक तो जाना है definitely, because pretty sure it's not enough. Or I agree with Guruji कहीं ना कहीं about Van Dijk situation. Not each and every game, लेकिन हाँ कहीं ना कहीं definitely he will play the main games. Right back भी, you can argue they need a right back as well.
Probably they need a right back if they want to invert. If they are thinking of probably playing Trent in that double pivot as a plan B, who is going to be the backup for Trent? It can't be. मतलब शिमिकास तो लेफ्ट पे खेलता है, राइट पे उनका कौन है? तो मतलब करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, राइट पे do they have like a first team
Joe
quality?
Gomez is there, but come on, like.
But Joe Gomez it still doesn't look convincing enough.
और एक
मतलब
youngster साइन किया था लास्ट season. I forgot the
हाँ
name. If anyone can help me in chat, they signed a youngster for sure.
yeah,
Beginning of last season. लेकिन
but
again,
not convincing enough from a rotational standpoint. Backup standpoint, yes, a backup position and a rotational position are two different things. So I think from a backup standpoint they do have someone, but I don't think so from a rotational standpoint they have someone capable enough कि भाई मतलब मैं right back पे आ पाऊँ और मैं शायद I can be like a traditional right back. I don't think so that is there with them. So they need to sign a right back as well.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. But I think Liverpool have done well यार अभी तक तो ट्रांसफर मार्केट में. और Calvin Ramsey, thanks bro.
Calvin
Big up यार,
Ramsey,
chat
yes.
up यार, absolutely 100% bro. You guys are always here no matter what. लेकिन किसका बात करें यार? I think we have literally covered all the active ones. आर्सेनल की बात नहीं की है अभी तक. I know गुरुजी, it's a long stream, but भाई काफी दिन हो गए, बहुत पेंडिंग बातें थी. तो hopefully that's
problem.
fine. भाई आर्सेनल का देखो, अगेन मतलब एवरीवन नोज दैट काय हैवर्ट्स. भाई मैंने तो रैंट भी किया भाई. मैंने जो एडिट कर दिया था ना चेल्सी टीम में, I actually literally took a promise from him and Chalobah that promise we are not going to leave Chelsea for the next 5 years. Obviously they're not going to show that, right? उन्होंने
Yeah,
एडिट
yeah.
कर दिया, but and वो मना नहीं करते, being a fan that I am obviously. लेकिन the way that he said it ना, for me it was sure that I know that he's been really disappointed in the last season performances wise भी, और he needed a new space altogether. I understand that. लेकिन मुझे लगा ही नहीं था भाई तू आर्सेनल जाएगा. मतलब फिटमेंट की
क्यों नहीं
बात
लगा
हम कर
था?
रहे थे अबाउट माउंट.
क्यों नहीं लगा
मतलब
था?
बिकॉज
विलियन, डेविड लुइस क्यों नहीं लगा था?
नहीं, नॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ लॉयल्टी. मैं बोल रहा हूँ आप फिटमेंट के हिसाब से बोलो ना, तो वहां पर ओडेगार्ड ऑलरेडी इज दैट द
Oh,
प्लेयर हु
in
कैन
that
ऑफ प्लेज
sense.
इन. लेफ्ट
Fair,
फुटेड है, ओडेगार्ड है,
fair,
साका.
fair, fair,
अगर आप बोलो वाइड खेलेगा तो साका है. तो you have to
fair,
play
fair.
the Man City way. 3-2-4-1 is the only way where he'll fit into the team, or a
Yeah, fair,
4-1-4.
fair, fair. I'm also not. मतलब I'm not sure about where he will play. Very very much honestly. I've tried to मतलब permutation combination लगाने को try किया कि आप क्या वो राइस के साथ पार्टनर करेगा. Will probably Arteta go for a 4-3-3 where you have three midfielders, where Rice becomes a pivot and you have Havertz playing as a slightly advanced midfielder, partnering with another midfielder whom they are probably going for, and you have three people in front. But that three people in front, where does Odegaard then play? So I mean, I mean that is where
अच्छा,
I
Zinchenko भी एक left footed player who could play in midfield, by the way, just saying. He
exactly
could play.
exactly. सूरज मुस्ताफी बोल रहा है Havertz in Jaka role. Absolute no bro.
No, no.
Absolute
अच्छा
no.
भाई, सूरज, मैं चेल्सी फैंस, आप गुरुजी विल अग्री. रिमेंबर द वे दैट वी वर लिंक्ड. आई थिंक रियल मैड्रिड लिंक थी, चेल्सी लिंक थी, और एक और क्लब लिंक थी जब वो बायर लेवरकुसेन में खेलता था लास्ट सीजन इन बायर लेवरकुसेन, राइट? आई रिमेंबर लिटरली वाचिंग ईच एंड एवरी मैच जस्ट टू स्काउट हिम. ठीक है, जस्ट टू स्काउट हिम कि बंदा कैसा है. एंड आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मतलब मैं बुंडेसलीगा काफी देखता हूँ, लेकिन आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू क्लेम कि भाई बायर लेवरकुसेन का हर एक मैच देखता हूँ, ठीक है. बट जस्ट टू स्काउट हिम, I remember he played all of 4 matches in that role. All of 4 matches in the entire season, bro. Second half of the season, sorry, not the entire season.
Yeah.
Second half of the season, all of 4 matches. वो ज़्यादा खेला था as a false nine, and that is where Tuchel saw him that because they had, I think, the main striker injured, if I'm not wrong, or then he played
And
mainly as a number 8/number 10.
I think also मैंने जब लेवरक्यूसन को उस टाइम पे देखा, yes he played as a second striker, but primarily जब in his good days at Leverkusen, right? In his good days at Leverkusen, he was in the right. He was playing as a right attacking midfielder. somewhat, if I have to explain it in that manner. Not exactly a right winger as well, but somewhere close to those half spaces. He was operating there, but the position was almost similar to a right winger, right? And he used to be in that particular position. Now, if I come to Arsenal, best way in which you can utilize him is how we committed suicide at Chelsea with Lampard, right? 4-1-4-1. ठीक है, वो फोर
मुझे
वन
याद आ
फोर
रहा
वन वाला जो फॉर्मेशन, इफ यू रिमेम्बर, where
है.
Jorginho was Jorginho was the only person
So
in that
it
line,
comes down to personal,
right?
right? But
Yeah.
Declan Rice,
So you if you are thinking that Declan Rice will cover that whole line for you, ठीक है, मतलब fine, and you have like two attacking midfielders in front of you, in terms of Odegaard and Kai Havertz as an advanced playmakers, right? And on the left you have a Martinelli, and on the right you have a Bukayo Saka, and and in the center you probably like you have a Jesus, right? This is very risky. This is very risky. I mean, I just don't understand how Arteta is going to balance this squad out. Because let's face it, now I'll give you City ka example. Okay? Let's face it. Now, City, for that matter, I'll give you example of a Kevin De Bruyne. Okay?
hmm.
Before last season. Okay? Before last season, or last season, मतलब this season, जो जीत गए लोग. ठीक है? Before this season, Kevin De Bruyne के साथ पोजीशन रोटेशन हुआ करता था, when probably, let's say, attacking, उस टाइम पे Bernardo Silva was not shifted to the right, I think, if I'm not wrong. He was playing more centrally.
जब स्टोन्स
ठीक है,
नहीं आया था, एग्जैक्टली जब
हाँ,
स्टोन्स नहीं आया था
एग्जैक्टली,
मिडफील्ड में, करेक्ट, हाँ, स्टार्टेड
एग्जैक्टली,
ऑफ दैट वे.
एग्जैक्टली, एग्जैक्टली. जब स्टोन्स नहीं था, तो Bernardo Silva was playing more centrally, in that number 10 position. Kevin De Bruyne को ही वो डीपर रोल दिया जाता था. आई रिमेंबर दिस वेरी क्लियरली, बिकॉज एफपीएल में मेरी हर बार लगती थी इसके वजह से, बिकॉज आई वाज कर्सिंग पेप की, भाई मतलब तू बार तू क्यों कर रहा है सर केडीबी के साथ, बिकॉज then you will not get points for assists or something of that sort, right? Because that was, I remember this very clearly, right? And that's the versatility that De Bruyne has, that positional versatility that De Bruyne has, that he can also shift deeper. Same with Gundogan. Okay, it's the same with Gundogan.
सी आर्सेनल फैंस, यही मैं बात कर रहा था ना, कपल ऑफ देम इन द एबीएफसी मेंबर्स ग्रुप, हम बात कर रहे थे कि यार maybe it is Odegaard who's dropping deep, because Odegaard, if you remember, in youth days he used to kind of be a deep playing playmaker as well at Real Madrid. बहुत ही कम मैचेस मैंने देखा था, but I think he has played that role. जो हम Havertz के बारे में बोल रहे थे during Bayer Leverkusen days, to some extent, very few. लेकिन यहाँ पर एक और क्वेश्चन था ना, that अनिमेश ने बोला था, Havertz and Odegaard same as Mount and Bruno cannot play alongside.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly
So
my point. Exactly.
like Manchester United need another midfielder, Arsenal also, and that is why the stories of Lavia are not going away. That is why the stories of maybe
They're
even
going
like
after Timber, no? Julian
Timber तो
Timber.
भाई मतलब at the back होगा, right? I'm just saying in midfield
Rotational.
में, unless you have Zinchenko playing there, मतलब which could be a possibility अभी भी, ठीक है? Unless you have Zinchenko playing there, they go like a 3-2-4-1. I don't see how basically they'll have the defensive awareness or the positional मतलब एक plan to kind of cover for the attacking prowess of both Odegaard and Havertz. और
They will
Havertz का
have to
भाई
sacrifice the attacking prowess of either Odegaard, and I'll also give you this name because I'll tell you why I'm giving this name also. They'll also have to sacrifice probably the attacking prowess or the talent of Emil Smith Rowe. Okay. Now, why Emil Smith Rowe will have a problem is because if this is something that I'm saying, if he then retrains Kai Havertz to probably left say एक advanced playmaker, ठीक है,
that
Arteta
is
has the,
actually in the news कि वो
हाँ,
शायद is a possibility as well, because there were a few games जहां पर I remember that he's tried Tuchel last season of Tuchel, he actually tried that as well. मुझे याद है 4-2-2-2 वाला सिस्टम ना,
exactly,
4-2-2-2 वाला एक बार
exactly,
उसमें किया
exactly.
था.
So left say advanced playmaker. I'm not talking about an inside forward. I'm not talking about an inverted winger. An advanced playmaker who has freedom on the left to do what he wishes to do, right? On the left half space to do what he wishes to do. That is something Kai Havertz could be trained into. And that is where probably you can say that he gives cover to a Gabriel Martinelli, for that example. But you can't drop a Martinelli. And Emil Smith Rowe hasn't done anything wrong to not get demoted down the order,
अच्छा,
bro.
हार्डली खेला है भाई, आई नो इंजर्ड था बट हार्डली
हाँ,
खेला है तो, एंड ही इज डूइंग वेल
and
बाय द वे,
whenever
फॉर
he's
पीपल हु डू
played,
नॉट नो,
for
अंडर
England,
21 में.
he's doing well for England. Yeah, he's doing
Yes.
well for England. So there is no reason for demoting Emil Smith Rowe also. So it's very confusing for me when it comes to the Kai Havertz situation. I think Kai Havertz is also confused कि भाई खेलेगा कहाँ पे.
मतलब मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ ना, आई डिडंट एक्सपेक्ट हिम टू डू आर्सेनल. देखो, इट्स ऑल अबाउट यार, अगर मैं जा रहा हूँ फ्रॉम चेल्सी टू आर्सेनल, आई नीड टू गेट समथिंग,
तो ला मेसी 22 का भी
assurance.
कमेंट लेते हैं. आई थिंक आर्सेनल विल गो विद फॉल्स 9. यार तो हेसूस क्या करेगा? मतलब हेसूस ने क्या किया है? ठीक है, हेसूस ने
भाई
क्या बुराई की है?
वो विंग भी खेल सकता है, फॉल्स साइड भी खेल
हाँ.
सकता है, बाय द वे ट्रोसार्ड
और
कुड
अब
आल्सो डू.
आपने बेंच स्ट्रेंथ के लिए तो डेफिनेटली नहीं लिया है. आपने बेंच स्ट्रेंथ के लिए से इतना सा
65
पैसा तो
million bro.
हाँ, आपने
नहीं,
बेंच स्ट्रेंथ
and
के लिए तो
Arsenal
खर्च
we are
नहीं किया.
talking
कम
about.
ऑन यार,
नहीं.
कम ऑन, बेंच स्ट्रेंथ के लिए नहीं खर्च किया. अगर कोई बोलेगा बेंच स्ट्रेंथ के लिए खर्च किया, प्लीज, दैट इज आई फेल टू बिलीव इन दैट.
अच्छा, बाय द वे सूरज, थैंक्स फॉर क्वेश्चन ब्रो. दे हैव एक्चुअली एक्सटेंडेड रीस नेल्सन आज. अब वो रीस नेल्सन भी एक्सटेंड क्यों किया है,
हाँ,
मतलब
क्यों किया?
they have
लोन
a
पे भेजेंगे
Vieira, they
उसको,
have a
क्या
Reece
सीन है?
Nelson, Elneny,
हाँ.
Partey, कितने लोग हैं भाई उनके, मतलब who could play wideish midfield or centrally, भाई I don't know. But Balogun is definitely going up. US international, भाई he's definitely going. Nketiah, because he's not like a false nine, जो Jesus है, maybe he might be your plan B. So Nketiah, I think might be, मतलब convince.
And Nketiah had a good season also, bro. Had a
Correct.
decent season.
So I
Decent
think
season.
एक बात तो पक्की, आई डोंट थिंक हैवर्ट्स इज प्लेइंग नंबर 9, वो तो नहीं होने वाला. हैवर्ट्स इज
नहीं.
मोर लाइक,
अगर आप खिलाओगे नंबर 9 तो आप अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हो, ब्रो. आप
बिल्कुल,
मत करो,
बिल्कुल.
नंबर 9
आई थिंक
मत
he'll
खिलाओ
he'll be
उसको.
more like a cam itself, लेकिन वही आपको
हाँ.
खिलाना पड़ेगा जिंचेंको इन मिडफील्ड टू हैव द डिफेंसिव थिंग. बट भाई हमने बहुत क्लब्स के बारे में बात कर लिया. आई थिंक जूलियन टिम्बर, यस वो हो गया. आई थिंक वहां पर वाइट एंड जूलियन टिम्बर इट्स अबाउट स्क्वाड रोटेशन फॉर वही हॉर्सेस फॉर कोर्सेस. आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी गुड डिफेंडर, नो टू वेज अबाउट इट. बट आई थिंक थोड़ा बहुत हमें, हाँ, बायर्न म्यूनिख का बात करना था भाई. हैरी केन का तो हमने ब्रीफली किया ही था गुरुजी. डेफिनेटली आई सी दैट टॉटनहम को इस बार दे हैव टू काइंड ऑफ go with the offer. Bayern Munich, knowing Tuchel, I think they might go for Harry Kane big. लेकिन that means that Sadio Mane probably will not get as much game time. और प्लस जो हुआ था between माने एंड साने, स्टोरीज आ रही न्यूकासल चेल्सी, थोड़ा बहुत उड़ती उड़ती खबर आई थी. बट strangely enough, he admitted that Manchester United he almost joined before joining Liverpool, and that might not be the worst option क्योंकि Eric Ten Hag likes that rotational forward. If you remember the Ajax days. So what is the best fit? I don't think Sadio Mane is going to Saudi right now. That's my personal opinion. आपको क्या लगता है? What is the best fit and where should he go and where do you see him going?
Sadio, like, why wouldn't Bayern keep him? Like, that's my question.
I think towards the end of the season, clear था ना. It was either him or Sane starting. I know they must have shorted. होता है, things happen. I know shit happens. But now,
because Tuchel
or
just came into the picture, right?
correct.
Right, Tuchel
But
just
वहां
came
पर
into the
already when you have a what do you say, Coman, वहां पर आपका Gnabry, you have
fair,
Sane. तो
fair. But when Tuchel has
centrally
just
option
come
नहीं
into,
बचा ना, rotational
yeah,
कहाँ रहेगा?
Tuchel has just come into the picture. You are training Sadio Mane to become somewhat like a mobile false nine kind of a scene, right?
Right.
Mobile false nine वाला zone पे आप train करते हैं. And he did, if I'm not wrong, whatever I saw of Bayern last week, he was not bad. He was not bad because you somehow wanted to include all three. No, you want to include a Sane into the picture, you want to include a Gnabry or a Coman into the picture, and you want to include Mane into the picture. Now you want a Hurricane. Now you want a Hurricane because you were thinking that bhai, matlab, we need someone who can, link up the play like Hurricane does with all of the wingers out there, right? So, I mean, yes, Mane going to Saudi is no, I don't. It's a very premature move. Mane has still got a lot of class, a lot of quality in him, still left to be in the big ass European leagues. But I still don't believe that Mane has done anything wrong or anything off to piss off Bayern in that matter. Yes, he's gotten competition with Harry Kane coming to the picture. If Harry Kane comes, he's gotten competition. But I really don't think so he should leave because even Bayern would like depth in their squad. They just got to the matlab title because Dortmund slipped.
Actually,
Yeah.
और वो भी मतलब देखो, टूकल का जितना भी प्यार हो, let's be honest, most of us wanted Dortmund to win क्योंकि
Yeah,
हो
exactly,
गया भाई,
exactly,
बस हो गया।
exactly.
फुटबॉल बोरिंग
So
बना दिया यार।
Dortmund
तो
slipped like majorly. Like I remember seeing that last match. Majorly, Dortmund slipped. Okay. So I really believe they would just want their squad to be jam packed now because they would not want this situation happening again. And also, उनको भी चाहिए होगा कि अभी Tuchel आया है. So probably Tuchel gets this whole bunch together and makes them understand that yes, this at least this season, let's see where we go. And post this season, if you still believe that you're not, you haven't gotten games or you haven't gotten the position that you wanted to play in or the required time that you wanted to play for, you can leave. So I think that is my idea. That is, I think that should happen with Mane as well.
बिल्कुल। और यहाँ पर देखो सूरज पूछ रहे अबाउट केन, एक्चुअली केन इज अ कॉन्वर्सेशन एज वेल, क्योंकि आई थिंक पॉल मर्सन हैज सेड, आई नो लॉट ऑफ ओल्ड स्कूल इंग्लिश थॉट्स दैट इफ यू आर जस्ट 40 odd goals away from Alan Shearer at this point, why would you want to leave to Bayern Munich, जहां पर they have already won 10,000 टाइटल, उनको 10,001 टाइटल जितवा दोगे तो इट्स नॉट लाइक, what he means to say is not as big an achievement
It's not
as
a challenge. It's not a
exactly.
challenge.
तो it's more like personal glory के लिए जाएगा। तो even from Bayern's perspective, if you actually see, is it the right motivation, मतलब if you actually
No
think
यार,
about it.
but again हम ambition के बारे में बात करें ना, previously हम ambition के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, तो I think Harry Kane has reached a striker. He's a world class striker. Please, let's just accept it. He's a world class striker. So Harry Kane would like to win a trophy. ठीक है. एंड बायर्न का तो ऑलमोस्ट गारंटीड ही है ना कि बुंडेसलीगा जीतेंगे. ठीक है. तो इट्स, वो जा रहा है ये सोच के कि चलो चैंपियंस लीग भी एक है चांस. ठीक है. बट यार बुंडेसलीगा का तो बहुत बड़ा चांस है कि तो जीत ही लूंगा. तो ही वांट्स टू विन अ ट्रॉफी एंड दैट ट्रॉफी शुड नॉट बी एन इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल ट्रॉफी, राइट? और व्हाट वाज द ट्रॉफी दैट स्पर्स वन? वो जो ऑडी कप, ऑडी कप, ऑडी कप,
Audi Cup.
Audi Cup. Like, let's not count it as a trophy, please. So, so I think that is why, from a player's perspective, you put him in his shoes. It makes sense for him to go to Bayern in that aspect.
We United fans want free में आ जाए next season. That's why we are not spending big on a striker. But I think striker हमने discuss नहीं किया because I know Gonzalo Ramos का भाई 100 million who's going to pay for Gonzalo Ramos नहीं होने वाला. हॉयलैंड के लिए 80 मांग रहे थे, but I think it'll be done, bro. सूरज कहीं ना कहीं if Haaland comes, I know is still very young. 80 million euros मांग रहे थे, but I think 60 में हो जाएगा. 60 million. I think United can afford, bro.
What
60 million euros. And हम Haaland का just because I know he's a very good striker, don't get me wrong, but his numbers are not as close to
No,
what
they're
an 80
not.
million
They're
striker
not.
would be.
He's a talented striker. All the scouting reports prove that he has
काफी अच्छा
got the
बंदा है, हाँ.
talent. He's
But
got the
80 million नहीं.
potential. But नहीं यार, 80,
Agreed.
even 60 is a lot.
Same with
Even 60 is-
कोलोमोनी का जो कैंप है ना भाई, बहुत अच्छा
हाँ.
किया है भाई, लेकिन
हाँ.
you have not done at that level consistently in terms of numbers जो हम
मतलब
expect
how
करते
have
हैं.
you inflated your price? कोलोमाने का तो मुझे समझ भी नहीं आता. How have you inflated your price so much after that glaring miss in the World Cup? ठीक है. How you inflated your price? मतलब ये तो अलग ही स्टोरी चल रही है यार उसकी कि भाई मतलब पब्लिसिटी मिल गई क्योंकि एमिलियानो मार्टिनेज ने मेरा शॉट सेव कर दिया था एंड ये पब्लिसिटी के लिए मैं अपना अभी प्राइस हाइक कर दूंगा. ये तो क्या बात हो गई यार, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया.
इट्स अ फेयर कमेंट, लेकिन मुझे लगता है बिकॉज इज बिकम मिस्टर फ्रैंकफर्ट आफ्टर कॉस्टिच लेफ्ट, आई थिंक वो एक चीज है ना, दैट इज द ओनली से.
बट व्हाट हैव फ्रैंकफर्ट अकम्प्लिश्ड आल्सो, प्लीज टेल मी. मतलब what have they
इस सीजन में
accomplished?
तो नहीं, इस सीजन में तो
Yes,
डेफिनेटली दे
this
नॉट
season, this season. Kostic, when did Kostic leave? Last season, right? If I'm not wrong.
राइट, बिगिनिंग ऑफ लास्ट सीजन, एग्जैक्टली.
Beginning of last season, he left. ठीक है. So since Kostic left, if you're saying that Kolomuani is their star, ठीक है. आप बोल सकते हो, मैं बोल रहा हूँ Guimaraes has been Newcastle star. ठीक है. Guimaraes has been Newcastle star. Guimaraes के पीछे अगर कोई जाता इस ट्रांसफर विंडो में, then it would have made sense कि ठीक है चलो Guimaraes is a star. He has led Newcastle. मतलब from the midfield almost sometimes single-handedly from a creative playmaking standpoint it was Guimaraes. ठीक है. It was when Guimaraes was injured.
He is the main core basically.
हाँ, when Guimaraes was injured फील होता था ब्रो कि मतलब ये मिडफील्ड से बॉल प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रही है. ठीक है. जोएल लिंटन इज नॉट अ बॉल प्रोग्रेसर. ठीक है. जोएल लिंटन वाज एक्सीलेंट बट प्रोफाइल इज वेरी डिफरेंट, ठीक है। तो आप गोइमारेस के लिए वो चीज बोल सकते हो कि ठीक है, गोइमारेस विल गो फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर प्राइस टैग बिकॉज ही इज बीन दैट इन्फ्लुएंशियल फॉर न्यूकासल टू कम टू दोस लेवल्स. What has Kolo Muani done? What has Kolo Muani done? Where has he taken Frankfurt? Where are Frankfurt? Where has he taken Frankfurt? He has a Animesh Sharma bol rahe, he has a 40 goals per assist at Frankfurt. 40 to 50 million would be fair price. Bundesliga is a very high scoring league. First of all, Bundesliga is a very high scoring league. It's a very open league. It is a very high scoring league. So that's why when it comes to the players ke stats from the Bundesliga itself, mere liye, in my opinion, sometimes we tend to be misled by it. And that is like case in point, like a probably case in point bhi nahi bolunga, but just a very loose example like a Timo Werner for that matter. ठीक है. Very very मतलब मैं एंकुंकू को still support इसलिए करूंगा because I've seen Enkunku play. So I'm not saying it from a stats perspective. Stats mislead बहुत
और वो
करते हैं.
सीजन बाय सीजन किया है, मतलब आई थिंक ही इज मच मोर प्रूवन देन कोलो मुआनी मैन.
Yes. So इसलिए मैं बोलूंगा Enkunku is an isolated thing or an isolated perception. To my point being that Bundesliga is a very high scoring league. अगर आप stats बता रहे हैं इसके बारे में, ठीक है, you may be right in your sense, but I don't buy it because it is misleading in a high scoring league. So that is what. Stats तो सैंचो के भी अच्छे थे, अनिमेश शर्मा. हाँ.
50 मिलियन it makes sense.
नहीं
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना.
नहीं यार, 50 भी नहीं दूंगा यार रैंडल कोलो मुआनी के लिए.
नहीं वो एक सेकंड, वो खाली अगर इंग्लिश टैक्स आप जोड़ो तो, अगर वो इंग्लैंड आ रहा है for Bayern Munich, knowing Bayern Munich, they won't pay so much. I don't think they will. As in, unless Tuchel is 100% convinced about it.
हम भी पीछे थे ना यार, कोलो मुआनी के पीछे हम भी पीछे थे ना एक टाइम पे. कोलो मुआनी
अभी आया है तो लेटेस्ट न्यूज इज उसका जो स्टार्टिंग रेट था आई थिंक कितना 100 मिलियन था, 90 था, सॉरी 90 था, 90 से 80 आया, अभी 70 हो गया है. उसके जो एजेंट्स जो बात फैला रहे हैं, 70 मिलियन इज व्हाट द थिंग इज, and we are talking euros here. Still it's about 65 million pound. It's too much money for a person.
It's too much.
उसका versatility is the best part. I know that numbers है, but is it enough for that level of जो हम pay? Even Bayern, I feel that Kolo Muani, as Mbappe moves to Real Madrid, even if you go to PSG for instance, I don't think you can say that Kolo Muani 100% starts every game at this point in time. मतलब I rather see someone like maybe even like a
मैं निकलस जैक्सन का एग्जांपल देता हूं. मैं निकलस जैक्सन का एग्जांपल देता हूं, ठीक है. हाउ मच यू पे फॉर निकलस जैक्सन? 35 + 5 समथिंग अलोंग दोस लाइंस, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, ठीक है. सो निकलस जैक्सन नाउ, इफ आई हैव टू पुट थिंग्स इनटू पर्सपेक्टिव, निकलस जैक्सन का लास्ट सीजन देखो, उसमें उसने 2 या 3 टीम्स के अगेंस्ट उसने ब्रेस मारे थे. वन वाज लेवांटे, वन वाज अनदर टीम, इफ आई एम फॉरगेटिंग दैट टीम्स नेम. All of those teams जिसके अगेंस्ट उसने ब्रेस मारे थे were low block teams. ठीक है, were low block teams. ठीक है. That is why for us it is justifiable to pay that price for Kolo Muani because we are going to face a lot of low block teams in the Premier League. A lot of teams are going to sit back. ठीक है, जब वो mid table वाली नीचे वाली teams जो हैं, they are going to sit back. They're going to sit back. And they're going to absorb our pressure and they're going to hit us on the counter because they know that we don't have defenders who can cover as well as cover as well as our counter press wala effectiveness jo hai. ठीक है, तो they are going to face such teams. We're going to face low block teams a lot, and Nicholas Jackson is effective. That proves that Nicholas Jackson is a bit effective against low block teams. ठीक है, तो इसलिए it makes sense there. But yeah, coming to, that's why if Nicholas Jackson के लिए हमने 35 + 5 million पे किया, doesn't make sense कि आप कोलो मुआनी के लिए 50 million पे करो या even 40 million पे करो. मुझे सेंस नहीं बनता.
you need a plan B rather, क्योंकि I think Nicholas Jackson drops deep. जो एक बोल सकते हैं poor man's और youngish Harry Kane आपको याद हो तो भाई, that is what probably you see Pochettino का, and that's why you can see the fitment. But again coming back to Bayern Munich, केन का मतलब अगर अभी भी स्पर्स नहीं छोड़ रहा है ना, मतलब I don't know what to say bro. I don't know what to say, but and कहीं ना कहीं it is only for the record. I don't think ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते हो कि केन के बारे में that he loves Spurs. Absolutely भाई, वो 1.5 साल पहले he's put in a transfer request already, right? So ऐसा भी नहीं है, तो I don't know man, मतलब I think he's going to buy him. लेकिन यार Kim Min-jae is a great signing, but do you think they have कहीं ना कहीं downgraded in the sense that they had a Lucas Hernandez, a left-footed center back, as a plan B versus now, playing with two, or Tuchel likes to play at times three the back. हमें पता ही है, Bayern also played at
Correct.
times last season.
Correct.
So that
That
factor.
the latter half of what you said, I think that's what they are going for. So yeah.
बट गुड स्टफ यार, मतलब हमने सभी क्लब्स के बारे में बात किया, थोड़ा बहुत एसी मिलान इन थोड़ा बहुत बात किया. एब्सोल्युटली आरएलसी गोइंग देयर, लुक्स लाइक पुलिसिक इज गोइंग, टोमोरी ऑलरेडी है, लुक्स लाइक एसी मिलान बोल रही है नॉट जस्ट माय सेकंड टीम, आल्सो चेल्सी सेकंड टीम, स्ट्रासबर्ग भी है. बट आई थिंक वी हैव नॉट स्पोकन अबाउट स्पर्स इन डिटेल, बट अगेन हैरी केन इज व्हाट स्पर्स आप बोलेंगे अभी तो, मोर ऑफ आउटगोइंग्स, अगर वो रख सकते हैं स्पर्स को, ग्रेट. कौन सा इंटर मिलान, फ्रेटेसी इज अ ग्रेट साइनिंग, आई थिंक दैट इज,
David
आई थिंक
Fretes,
मेक्स सेंस.
yeah.
भाई काफी अच्छा किया था ससोलो के लिए, आई थिंक दैट्स अ ग्रेट वन. लेकिन भाई वापस इंटर मिलान फैंस, प्लीज कन्वे द मैसेज, भाई लुकाकू के लिए आप अगर सच में चाहते हो दे दो भाई, और 10 मिलियन दे दो, व्हाट्स रॉन्ग, 30 मिलियन पर क्यों अटके हो? 40 मिलियन एंड इज योर्स, सिंपल एज दैट, नो टू वेज अबाउट इट. और लोन वोन अपना को चाहिए नहीं है, टेंशन, हाँ वो सब नहीं चाहिए. बट हाँ, न्यू कासल आर मेकिंग मूव्स फॉर श्योर मैन. किएजा मैन, टॉक अबाउट इटालियन टीम्स, ही माइट गो टू न्यू कासल. याद है हम, we were ready to pay 85 million, was it Guruji, 2 seasons ago for Chiesa, around the Euros, man, and अभी देखो 50 million पर आ गया उसका value, and I know injury के बाद है, but I think it's worth it bro, Chiesa for
He's still worth it.
50
Still
million,
worth it.
yeah.
We can, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है कि I'll tell you, हम लोग इतने bare slim तक आ गए ना, हमारा स्क्वाड इतना ज्यादा सडनली इतना स्लिम हो गया है ना, सडनली इतना स्लिम हो गया है, इतना स्लिम हो गया है ना कि अभी सोच रहे हैं कि शिट यार, ये प्लेयर ये पोजीशन के लिए अच्छा है, क्योंकि जेन्युइनली राइट विंग में बोला था बैडवेक है, मतलब यू कैन करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, बट जेन्युइनली और एक कोई राइट विंगर नहीं है हमारे पास,
प्रॉपर विंगर. हाँ एग्जैक्टली,
हाँ.
और मडवेके हैज ए इंजरी रिकॉर्ड, एंड दैट्स अ गुड
यस
पॉइंट.
यस, तो आप किसको खिलाएंगे? तो तो आप क्या फिर मालो गस्टो को राइट बैक खिलाओगे और रीस जेम्स को राइट विंगर खिलाओगे? क्या प्लान क्या है आपका?
ट्राई स्टर्लिंग ही करेंगे ब्रो, आई एम टेलिंग यू, इज नॉट अ राइट विंगर, बट दैट इज द ओनली ऑप्शन लेफ्ट, अनलेस चो समहाउ स्टेज, व्हिच आई डोंट सी, जो आपने भी बोला है.
Yeah,
That is the
CHO
thing.
will not stay. CHO will not stay.
Yeah.
So what is your plan? मैं अकेडमी से भी देख नहीं रहा हूँ कि कोई ऐसा
अपना
बढ़िया सा
कचरा भाई, a man for all occasions. कौन है गैलेगर?
राइट विंग.
पता नहीं भाई, चैट बोलिए व्हाट इज द ऑप्शन. बट ग्रेट कॉन्वर्सेशन गाइस, मतलब हम वी कैन गो ऑन एंड ऑन, मतलब ऑलवेज इन गुरुजी's हाउस, लव chatting with him, and of course chat OPR absolutely. अगर बाई चांस सब लोग अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किए तो आदिदेव गुरुज्ञान डू कंसीडर डूइंग दैट एब्सोल्युटली, और हमें भी चेकआउट करिए ऑलमाइटी स्पोर्ट्स. और वहां पर आई नो मैं 3-4 दिन से किया नहीं हूँ, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं ऑफ सीजन था, but we are coming back obviously with a lot of content almost daily on both the channels, always a fan channel for to see. तो सब लोग भाई आपके प्रेडिक्शंस, आई नो आप लोग हमसे पूछ रहे हैं, आप अपने प्रेडिक्शन दीजिए टॉप 4. गुरुजी आप, आई हैव टू चैट बिफोर गोइंग अबाउट द इंडियन टीम ब्रो, थोड़ा सा, मतलब अगेन गूज बम्स मैन, आई हैव टू से, मैंने उसके बारे में ट्वीट भी किया था, मैंने वीडियो भी डाला था यार, जितना भी आप देखो ना, आई लव माय चेल्सी ब्रो, आई लव मिलान एज वेल टू सम एक्सटेंट, नेदरलैंड्स टीम, बीट ईपीएल फुटबॉल, ला लीगा, सब चीज, वी लव इट ब्रो. लेकिन अपनी जो होती है ना धरती वाली जो टीम होती है प्रॉपर, आप देखते हो एंड यू सी योर स्टार्स हु प्रोबब्ली बीन criticized as much. I know Sunil Chhetri putting up that video. Was it last year? कि यार आ जाओ देख लो, गाली वहां दो.
Yes.
And now the way it happened, obviously being actually in West Block Blues, भाई it was for me the best. And I've been to MLS game, बहुत अच्छा atmosphere रहता है, but this is not even comparable. It's next level bro, absolutely. लेकिन do you see that कहीं ना कहीं the opposition was not as testing, लेकिन I think Kuwait Lebanon has proven enough कि it was good enough. तो genuinely यार, what is the hope from the Indian team अभी?
I mean 2023 आप देखोगे इंडियन टीम, आप ले लो ओडिशा का ट्रॉफी, ओडिशा में जो कप हुआ था वो वाला ले लो, ऐसे सैफ कप ले लो, ऑल ऑफ दीज कंबाइंड टुगेदर, लोग बोलेंगे कि यार कुवैत 144th रैंक था, व्हाटएवर 140 प्लस रैंक था उनका, but you look at still the competition that came out in this SAF Cup, right? The competition in itself was this season. I've seen the SAF Cup since quite some time. Been an Indian football fan since a very, very long time. So the competition this time in the SAF Cup was a level, like level up हो गया था. ठीक है, एक level up हो गया. It was a notch above. I know the rank of these teams was somewhere niche, but the competition on the pitch was a bit different.
या
ठीक है,
या
was a bit different.
बैटल था
And
भाई कुवैत के दोनों मैचेस में. इनफैक्ट आई वुड रिमेंबर दैट दे वर कंफर्टेबल एट टाइम्स विद द बॉल, एट द सेम टाइम दे वर रियली मतलब फिजिकल.
combination was great. Combination play sometimes Kuwait का was very good. And मैं I think कुवैत के पहले हम किसके अगेंस्ट थे सेमीज में? हम इसके अगेंस्ट थे ना, लेबनान के अगेंस्ट थे ना हम.
लेबनन या.
हाँ, लेबनान के अगेंस्ट थे ना. तो लेबनान के अगेंस्ट भी मैं ऐसे जब देख रहा था मैच में, डिस्कस कर रहा था कि यार काउंटर में गोल ना खा जाए, क्योंकि देयर वर टाइम्स व्हेन Lebanon threw players in front, and outside the box they were अब कुछ phases था outside the box, उनके passing combinations are also nice. तो मैं वो गोल ना खा जाए, but somehow इस टीम से ना मुझे एक certain छोटी hope इसलिए आ रही है because I have seen Sandesh Chingan playing his best football since his been in the Indian national team. I have seen Anwar Ali becoming an inspiration for a lot of people, and also coming down to from a pure footballing standpoint, an absolutely amazing ball playing defender.
बिल्कुल.
I have seen Lallianzuala Changte becoming such a huge potential that don't get me wrong, that he has the potential to be an absolute star in the Asian footballing circuit. Lallianzuala Changte, he's
बिल्कुल
become
बिल्कुल.
that. And I have seen players literally combining well. ठीक है,
क्योंकि
combining well with each
सब्स्टिट्यूशंस
other.
ईच मैच में आप देखो तो आई रिमेंबर सेमीज में इट वाज उदांता सिंह, फाइनल्स में ऑब्वियसली इट वाज आई थिंक रोहित कुमार एंड महेश. आई थिंक द मोमेंट सब्स्टिट्यूशंस हैपेंड, ऐसा भी नहीं था एक 2 मिनट के लिए यार मतलब यार दे टेक अनदर कपल मिनट्स टू काइंड ऑफ सेटल. आई थिंक दे एग्जैक्टली न्यू देयर रोल्स, और वो एक केमिस्ट्री वाज इज क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन टू सी. बट
Yeah.
दैट्स वेयर टीम
And
स्पिरिट
also
आता है.
chemistry is also down to the fact कि हमारा national team camp इस बार STEM match got some time to work with the
एग्जैक्टली
players.
या.
Got some time
एंड
to work with the
ही वाज
players.
वॉइसिंग दैट
That
फ्रॉम अ while.
for a while, and I think that's a huge role to play here. And Varun Kumar has made a good comment here. We need to level up our competition, which is fair. Uh, but this is a good start. This is a good start to have, because again, I'll reiterate this fact: this SAF competition was not one of those straightforward SAF competitions, SAF Cup competitions for us. I know we are expected to win SAF Cups or be in the finals of SAF Cups, but this was not as straightforward as it was on paper. And इसलिए this is a very very good start for us. This is a very very neat start for us. We look very much battle hardened, बोलते हैं ना लोग कि battle hardened हो गए हैं हम. जब बोलते हैं कि we will fight for the match or we'll fight for the nation on the pitch, they mean it. But एक ही just छोटी चीज है मेरे अंदर की, aggression is great, constructive aggression is also great, but I would not like my coach to miss out on the semi-finals and the finals
बिल्कुल.
of the SAF
एंड
Cup, whatever.
मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ संदेश आल्सो ह्यूज फैन ब्रो, एक्स बीएफसी प्लेयर ब्रो, मतलब एब्सोल्युटली. लेकिन इन द फाइनल आल्सो देयर वर मोमेंट्स कि मुझे लगा यार भाई अभी गया, और क्योंकि कोच नहीं था साइडलाइन में उसको बताने के लिए. और मतलब विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट टू आवर सर सुनील छेत्री ब्रो, मतलब समवन ऑफ दैट एलिमेंट इन लीडरशिप इज रिक्वायर्ड ऑन द साइडलाइंस एज वेल एज इन द मतलब डिफेंस ऑफ मिडफील्ड, एंड दैट हिमसेल्फ वाज संदेश. सो कहीं ना कहीं यू कैन नॉट हैव योर कोच आउट. एंड वो हमने आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइस कुड हियर इट ऑन फैन कोड ब्रो, हमने व्लॉग में शायद वो पार्ट मैंने डाला नहीं है.
Fuck fan code, bro. That who was fucking SAF council? What shitty commentator did they appoint, भाई? मैं पागल हो रहा
भाई
था भाई
इसलिए तो
उसके बारे
व्लॉग
में
डाला
tweet
है ब्रो.
करते.
हम
मैं
इसलिए
पागल हो गया
बेटर
था. मैं
नहीं.
पागल हो गया था ब्रो. फुल सैफ का पागल हो गया था. ये फ्लैग किक क्या होता है भाई? फ्लैग किक क्या होता है यार? समझ में नहीं आता भाई, फ्लैग किक
अच्छा
क्या
नहीं,
होता है
लेकिन
यार?
मैं गुरु जी मैं बोल रहा था देखो, वी लिटरली फॉर 2-3 मिनट ना वेस्ट ब्लॉक एंटायर वी वर शाउटिंग कि भाई नो मोर रेड कार्ड्स, ओनली ट्रॉफीज. ईगोस टी मैच, नो
But
मोर रेड कार्ड्स, ओनली
please,
ट्रॉफीज.
we can't afford such red cards in the Kings Cup. We can't. Like ये सब हो गया, ये सब बकचोदी हो गया. अभी किंग्स कप में नहीं, ये सब चीजें नहीं करने का. गुड ऑपोजिशन इन द किंग्स कप, वेरी डिसेंट ऑपोजिशन इन द किंग्स कप. इराक, थाईलैंड are two of the teams that you're facing. Third team मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा. चैट अगर आपको याद है तो प्लीज बोल दीजिएगा.
या प्लीज. लेकिन वही है ना, आप यू हैव डन दिस बैक टू बैक एट होम. अब वही है, ट्रू टेस्ट इन माय ओपिनियन विल प्रॉब्ली वी बी व्हेन वी गो अवे. एंड अवे करके बेसिकली हाउ आर वी काइंड ऑफ कोपिंग अप विद दैट लीडरशिप एलिमेंट जो हमने बात की है अबाउट सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स. एंड दैट इज आई थिंक विल बी रियली वर्थ द टेस्ट. मुझे लगता है वो जो कैंप ने आपने बोला बोला ना, आई थिंक दैट्स अ ग्रेट पॉइंट बिकॉज समवेयर ऑन द लाइन आई think this season entire ISL scheduling, for example, wasn't at the right time. Lekin in a strange sense, that has kind of helped because they got a
Exactly.
couple of extra weeks in the end.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Even ISL being longer, even ISL being longer, being a longer format has also helped these players because they are more. What do you say? When you it normally see seen in sports ki when you are playing or when you are in that scenario, you have that mentality. When you're not playing, when you're not in that scenario, you somehow have the tendency to switch off. ISL being a longer format this time out, uh, gave the players the opportunity to not switch off anymore, to not switch off that much, for to be very honest, right? Even though there was a break in the middle and all of that, you can still argue, but again, there was ये जो अमन कुमार ने भी पॉइंट बोली, कंडीशनिंग, मेंटल कंडीशनिंग में बोलना चाहूंगा अमन कुमार. मेंटल कंडीशनिंग इज मेंटल कंडीशनिंग आई थिंक मेरे दिमाग में जितना मेरे ओपिनियन में इट इम्प्रूव्स व्हेन you have more football to play, when you have regular football to play, right?
Yeah,
So
and
I think,
competitive level, that is something
and
which is
competitive level, so I
correct.
think that you got to credit ISL for
हाँ,
that matter as well,
definitely.
along with the fact कि yes, national team camps मिले ज़्यादा.
प्लसेस डेफिनेटली है ब्रो. लेकिन अगेन यार ग्रेट, मतलब मैं तो बोला अभी तक मैं तो उसी मोड में हूँ यार. मतलब दैट एक्सपीरियंस यार भाई. मतलब अगेन आई वुड लव, ऑब्वियसली गुरुजी हैज वॉच्ड अ लॉट ऑफ मैचेस हिमसेल्फ एज वेल. हम करेंगे यार साथ में होपफुली यार. बहुत अपनी जनता बोल रही है मुंबई में क्यों नहीं हो रहे भाई, वहां भी आएंगे साथ में होपफुली हम. और लेकिन अगेन बायस बोलोगे यार, जो बैंगलोर का क्राउड था ना, मतलब सुनील छेत्री हिमसेल्फ हैज रिकॉर्डेड वीडियो फॉर अ रीजन बिकॉज आई थिंक that took it to the next level absolutely. And that's something that
Right.
I would hope that entire India kind of really understands. And hopefully even abroad यार हमें हमारे भाई अगर क्रिकेट में हो सकता है, why not in other sports, as in simple as that. मतलब कहीं भी वर्ल्ड में होता है मैच, people turn up bro, and that is required for the Indian football team and they are showing results. So hopefully we back them. Again, big up to everyone. Again, chat OP. I'm still getting goosebumps on speaking about the Indian team, but that's how things go bro. लेकिन गुरुजी थैंक्स अ लॉट यार. मतलब काफी
Thank
लंबा
you.
चला स्ट्रीम, लेकिन काफी सारे
मजा आया,
फनी
मजा
टॉक्स
आया.
अगेन.
जो है.
we'll probably have Guruji back on All Blue show as well. I know काफी सारे Chelsea questions related थे because me and Guruji are together, but that also we have covered for people who missed out in the beginning part of the stream. हमने discuss किया काफी सारे clubs, तो check out Chelsea as well. लेकिन हमने proper वो भी करना है over the weekend or maybe next week. तो भाई much love for everyone. Again, do check out Adidev Guruji अगर आपने by chance अभी तक नहीं किया subscribe and hit that like button here, always helps. कल हम live रहेंगे on Almighty Sports mostly. I'll share the topic and cricket की भी बातें करनी है actually with Guruji as well, so we'll get back on that as well. But even here, if there are news and hopefully कुछ अच्छा न्यूज आ जाए for my clubs and Guruji's club obviously जो common है, in terms of Caicedo, no surprises. कर दो बस. चलो, see you guys.
See you, man.